Now, chat, there is hubris. There is a hubris in the chat that must be dealt with. A hubris and arrogance in the chat that they think they know. But chat, you don't know. You don't know. For example, Alavatore Diamarco. The hubris is too much because they... Viewer 131. Hubris. False. Incorrect. You claimed that Mike from PA was in error and using Chrome? How dare you? Your faith and your lack of it has been noted. Once again, you have been warned. I don't know why there's so many spam ads on the landing page. I'm not gonna lie, but I have become Mike. Ascended. Mike has returned home to Firefox. It's all right. I used to be a Firefox user. Back in the day before Chrome, I was a Firefox guy. And then Chrome came along and it was better. Gmail came along. It was better than Hotmail. And we made the transition to Gmail and Chrome. And the reality is that ever since that period, Chrome sucked. Chrome has become the evil company, the evil browser that it was supposed to set out to defeat. And that is the essence of capitalism in a nutshell. When you make money doing good, eventually capitalists will come and make you do evil. And your settings and new search bar, new tab set to blank page. Okay. Settings where? Why Hassan refugees? Apparently Hassan is going to be taking 3 days off, which is unbelievable. We watched a great 30-minute video with Caroline last night about the cycle of enshittification. We should watch that. Because the news is kind of boring right now. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's not boring in the sense of it's not important. It's just same old shit. You know, Donald Trump is a pedophile. Like, you know, Ethan Klein is a Zionist. You know, that shit's boring as fuck. Oh, we're doing a Holocaust in America at the alligator Alcatraz. There's a genocide going on in Gaza. You know, all the same shit, right? Streamer Hassan Piker announces he will be taking a 3-day break on Friday. I don't believe him. Tools, settings, home, recommended Surrey. Let me see a new. Oh, that's so much better. Thank you, chat. Oh, that's so much better. Thank you, chat. I'll believe it when I see it. He's going to be posting so many Instagram stories. And don't worry, chat. I'll be here. I'll be here to stream with you and make sure that you're okay. Don't worry. Weekend Mike is coming. And I know something terrible is going to happen in the news. An award-winning author agrees with your take about Gen Z and cringe culture.
And what I've noticed, you know, in a very unsettling way, is that our students, at least in America, I can't speak for other places, they are more and more self-conscious of trying.
This is so true. It is so true. And it's fascist, by the way, because failure is unaesthetic. Failure, being embarrassed, being cringe is unaesthetic. And because social media panopticon is constantly looking for people to mock, for them, never trying, being blank-faced is preferable to shame. There's like an extreme shame avoidance cycle. It's also why they're so, that's why they also became so puritanical and uncomfortable with things like arousal and sex in general. Because anytime you become interested in someone and there is an opportunity for rejection. There's an opportunity for failure. That's why they don't fuck, because they don't try. You know, the moment when you're with someone that you're dating and you haven't kissed yet, you haven't even held hands yet, you haven't crossed that boundary of intimacy. You know what I'm talking about, chat? Where eventually somebody has to make the first move. Do you know what I mean? Somebody has to do it for the next stage to happen. Is somebody has got to try to lean in for the kiss, move their arm to go around it, or grasp toward the other person's hand. You know, there's always that moment of vulnerability when someone makes the move. Now, all of us try to read signals, right? And we try, you know, some people won't make a move unless they get explicit words like you can hold me. Like that some people will never make a move unless they get that explicit clearance. which is totally normal and okay. And I think that's why Gen Z can't fuck, because they are scared to like try. A CEO and a head of HR were caught cheating on a Coldplay concert kiss cam. The comments are wild. That's kind of, I should have read that message. It's completely distracting from the point I'm making. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that Gen Z is incredibly scared of being cringe. Incredibly scared. Does anyone have the Ezra Klein mauling over Central Committee? Huh? Is that true? Ezra, I'll debate you right now. No prep. Oh, you mean Ethan Klein. Ethan dedicated a 20-minute segment to you yesterday. LML, you rage faded the fuck out of him. Yes, it was the easiest rage bait of my life. It was the easiest rage bait of my life. And one thing I noticed about Ethan Klein is he has absolutely no fans. If you go and look at anybody who tries to like rush to his defense, and you go and look at their follows, they're not Ethan Klein fans. They're typically Nazis. They're typically like just outright Nazis. Usually like from, what's his name? I can't remember. I don't really notice who the Nazis are. I was so hyped for an Ezra debate. It would be so exciting. It would be so funny. That fucking nerd. That would be the easiest debate of my life. How is Gen Z afraid of being cringe when we live in the TikTok era? I don't know if you've watched TikToks lately, but for the most part, like, what do you think libs of TikTok is? You would need a moderator who'll talk over you and yell. I'll just mute him. Who cares? Hassan was supposed to react to Harry Sisson. I'm sorry, but Harry is just so uninteresting and mediocre that he failed to make that funny. I saw part of it. It's not even funny. Debate a version of yourself that's further left. There's no such thing. There's literally no such thing. And what I mean by that is, when you say further left, I actually don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The only kind of stuff we would have a debate about further left would have to be in a totally different society that we do not currently live in. Adam can make anything funny. Like, look at this shit. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get some of these links people are sending me. Israel is stealing donkeys from Gaza. Yeah, they're doing genocide. Donkeys are like incredibly hardy pack animals. Of course they're doing that. I guess having no borders at all is something that's further left. Something like no borders is a policy that literally cannot be enacted because anarchists don't want you to get state power. So in order to get rid of borders, you'd have to control the state. And so therefore it can never happen because they say don't try. So like one of those things that is a self-negating policy, because if you're anti-electoral in every way or anti-state power, then you can't actually take over states in order to dismantle borders because you never tried to take over the state. Is a hypothetical global union? Oh, I mean, that's what we need. That's what we need. Oh yeah, hell yeah, dude. I love this. I followed this guy and liked this post from yesterday.
Is lecturing Democrats on not standing up to Trump. No one has run further from the fight than you, my man. You represented the change that I so desperately wanted to see in the world when I was 17. I thought the days of Abu Ghraib and reckless wars were over. Nope, you continued them all. You prosecuted no one from the 2008 financial crisis. And then after your presidency, you retreated into being a celebrity. You're going to release a comedy special with Larry David. Who's running further from the fight than you? Your entire legacy has been undone. Obamacare was effectively dismantled with the big, beautiful bill. Any, deferred action for dreamers, naturalized citizens are about to be deported. And all you can really do is lecture from on high. You were barely a millionaire when you became the president. You had your 60th birthday party on Martha's Vineyard. The first thing you ever did was go parasailing with Richard Branson. You are everything that is wrong with this country. And I find it very difficult to believe that you ever believed in anything noble. And I think you represent everything that people hate about politicians, which is that they will say anything to get rich, and you truly don't care about your legacy if this is how hard you fight for it. Please keep your mouth shut. This fight is not yours anymore, and it arguably never was.
I think an important lesson here that we need to learn is that
Well, guys, the collapse is
gonna
fully
be
imminent,
okay
and
as
if you don't
long as
believe me,
that
walk
kind of
outside.
politics-
I am walking through Chinatown, Little Italy, right now. Usually
is there
absolutely
no way to
packed
pause?
Well-
Okay. These politics, the politics that we're talking about, the politics of material outcomes is what we need. Can I get a link to the Obama vid? I'm pretty sure I retweeted it on my TikTok, exclamation point TikTok. After I found out he only read books to attract girls, I knew he was fake. I mean, Barack Obama is a sociopath, but a very charismatic one. You like my shirt. Okay, that's how you pause it. Okay, Jesus. Obama's net worth is 70 million. Yes, because all he's done is make money for himself since he left office. That's all he's done. He doesn't give a shit about literally anything. In fact, he wants to be a billionaire himself. All right, let's watch the Bill Burr. We were going to watch this yesterday, but let's just start it off with some Bill Burr on Subway cuts.
How you doing?
Bill Burr says, stop blaming immigrants, blame billionaires. Correct. I want you to know something, chat, that our country is pathetic. And it's pathetic because you don't believe. If I am in even left-wing spaces, people don't believe things can happen. It's because people simply do not expect it, and they do not believe, and they don't even know how to plan. And this is my biggest frustration, is that when somebody says something like Medicare for all, there are millions of people that will hear that, consider themselves left-wing or center-left, and say that's impossible. They will legitimately argue that Medicare for all is impossible. Impossible. They will advocate and they will argue that you should not campaign for it because it is impossible. Now, I want you to know something, that if you're like that, I legitimately think that you should give up. I think you should give up, go learn how to whittle or crochet, and just go away. Give up. Be quiet. Stop talking. Just go away forever. And the reason why I say that is your mentality is genetically cocked. I am a leftist, so I don't truly believe that genetics is the most determinative factor of society by any means. But the one thing that makes me consider possibly that there may be some important element of genetics is the fact that people like that exist. And it's immune to reason. And so some people are just what I call regime pilled, which is whatever the regime is, that's the extent of their vision. If they lived in China, they would be declaring Xi Jinping thought is the only thought that's real. Just go away. Be quiet. You are a small-minded tool. And eventually, when we change society, you'll be telling everybody that whatever socialism we live under is the only system that can exist. And in that situation, I'll like it. Isn't that most people? Gosh, I hope not. I think that in society, we have two types of cynicism, chat. We've got stupid cynicism and we've got smart cynicism. These are I need to come up with better terms for this. But when someone tells me they're cynical, there's two ways that I interpret that. The first way is this kind of stupid cynicism, which is basically permission to be a lazy, self-interested piece of shit. And their approach toward politics is, I don't really like politics. All politicians are the same. It's all corrupt. It's all pointless. Nothing can ever change. That is an apathetic cynicism. That cynicism serves the interests of the status quo by taking somebody who could be a radical opponent of the system and turning them into an apolitical blob. That's cancerous cynicism. And that's an extremely common cynicism. It's a cynicism that tells you, don't pay attention to the news. Don't pay attention to politics. Don't pay attention to society. Who cares? Nothing can ever change. Focus on, I don't know, your next pizza roll. I don't even know what the fuck these people think about all day. And then there's an intelligently smart cynicism. This is the aware, the materialist, the dialectical materialist cynicism, which says our society is a bourgeois dictatorship. Our system is set up in such a way as to be corrupted by money and power. And that when you're dealing with a politician, to understand that politician's politics, you need to look at who supports them. You need to look at who they're getting money from. And you need to look and see what their history of action is. That is an intelligent cynicism. And in that cynicism, most politicians are pieces of shit. Most people involved in the practice of our government are pieces of shit because you fucking know why. They're getting bribed and you know who are bribing them. But that doesn't mean that politics is pointless. It doesn't mean nothing can change. It means that if things are going to change, we have to take people like the corrupt Obamas and sweep them out of power and make them disgusting. Pizza rolls cooked in the air fryer, absolutely fuck. I just never have had a good pizza roll. I just think pizza rolls suck. They were never good. Now, if you're talking about the super cheap processed pizzas or a bagel bite, now you're talking. Okay? Now you're talking. But if you're talking about pizza roll, I don't know any good. I don't like Tostitos. I don't think they're any good. That's my take. That's my take. French bread pizza, yes. Those cheap flat processed pizzas, yes. Bagel bites, yes. Pizza roll, I can't say I like them. Mike was wrong. Okay, that's fine. You can have the pizza rolls. I'll take the fucking bagel bites. I'll take the French bread pizzas. You can have all the pizza rolls you want. Trade. My deal. I give you the pizza rolls. I get bagel bites and French bread pizza. Deal? I will take that deal any day. Unlock me.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
I love the subway.
You do?
Yes.
How often do you take it?
Every time.
You take it every day?
Well, Bloomberg messed up all the streets. He put tables and chairs in the middle of the streets.
Those fucking tables.
Because he went to Europe for some Illuminati meeting, and he was like, you know, I like this Amsterdam. Even though our city is not set up like that whatsoever, and it's a completely different country, let's do what they're doing.
I'm surprised he didn't set up a canal.
Well, yeah, dig up Canal Street. That's the next thing he's going to do, and make it a waterway again.
It's not a bad idea. You know, young people are calling Manhattan these days? They call it Work Island.
Work Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not for fun.
I don't know that it was ever fun.
Well, you live here. You live on Work Island. I suggest you move to Brooklyn.
No, I'm not going to be another white guy that moves to Brooklyn and ruins a neighborhood.
You would be amongst your peers. They're already all ruined, dude. You live in Hudson Yards, right? You live on that sculpture?
Yes.
That
they actually built that for me.
I saw a cut there. I feel like Bill Burr said, "Hey, dumb fuck, stop doxing me." And then they made a joke about where he lived. I feel like to cut the tension. I feel like Bill Burr just yelled at him. Am I crazy? Am I fucking crazy? Like, look at this cut. Hold on.
Are calling Manhattan these days? They call it Work Island.
Work Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not for fun.
I don't know that it was ever fun.
Well, you live here. You live on Work Island. I suggest you move to Brooklyn.
No, I'm not going to be another white guy that moves to Brooklyn and ruins a neighborhood.
You would be amongst your peers. They're already all ruined, dude. You live in Hudson Yards, right? You live on that sculpture?
Yes.
That
they actually built that for me.
Yeah.
That's my white privilege. Even though I haven't really done anything, they still built me a sculpture. Do you know they had to shut that down because people would jump into their deaths?
Yeah, because they saw it and they said, fuck it, I'm out. That's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Was that for like the lazy suicide person? Because you could really jump from anything in New York. You know what? I bet per capita, this is probably the most jump to your death. Oh, that's a bad thing to bring up. Sorry.
I mean,
historically
it's just
speaking.
It's not. It's not. It's definitely, we all know what the number one thing to jump to your death from is, right? It's got to be Golden Gate. It's got to be Golden Gate. It's 100% Golden Gate. Unless they put like those nets that catch people, it's got to be Golden Gate.
Yes, it is.
It's
All
a
right.
fact. Sir.
All right. It got dark quick. We went to one stop.
I got a real question for you.
Yes.
What's your take?
My take is that when they get rid of all the illegals in this country, white billionaires will then magically become generous and start paying people a living wage because they inadvertently got rid of their excuse as to why they're not paying people.
100% disagree.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would they all of a sudden start paying?
Because it's the illegal aliens' fault. That's why.
So once the problem...
They need to come to this country the right way, the way my people came here.
On a boat?
Yeah, with flowers and welcoming everybody. That's the way you do it.
You're pilgrim-blooded, right?
I think, yeah, you go back a couple generations. Yeah, my people had a belt buckle ready.
My favorite, bro, it's so funny because there's a movie called Gangs of New York where it's about when Irish people were coming to America, that era of American history. And it's like It just shows you how white people got here. And it's fucking funny. Hold on. Okay, can we stop?
That's the building of our country right there, Mr. Cutting. Americans are burning.
I don't see no Americans. I see trespassers. Irish hops do a job for a nickel what a nigger does for a dime and a white man used to get a quarter for. What have they done? Name one thing they've contributed. Votes. Votes, you say? They vote how the Archbishop tells them, and who tells the Archbishop? Their king in the pointy hat what sits on his throne in Rome.
Bill's got mixed feelings as regards the Irish.
Bill, deliver these good and fervent folk to the polls on a regular basis, and there'll be a handsome price for each vote goes Tammany's way.
My father gave his life making this country what it is. Murdered by the British with all of his men on the 25th of July, Anno Domini 1814. You think I'm gonna help you befoul his legacy? By giving this country over to them what's had no hand in the fighting for it? Why, because they come off a boat crawling with lice and begging you for soup?
You're a great one for the fighting, Bill, I know. But you can't fight forever.
I can go down doing it.
And you will.
What did you say?
I said you're turning your back on the future.
Not our future.
Like, it's an amazing thing because that's Bill Burr's people, right? That's Bill Burr's people. They came off the boat and people said the same shit that they say about Latinos and Asian and everything. It's the exact same shit, except it's Irish people saying it now. It's Italian people saying it now. When one lifetime ago, their ancestors were getting the exact same treatment. It's fucking hilarious, man. Did Hassan get banned again, or is this a clickbait title? Hassan is going to be taking 3 days off. And so my answer to your question is Hassan isn't banned. He's just taking time off. I think it's starting tomorrow. But yes, it's also clickbait. I want to be completely honest with you. I would like more Hassan viewers. Thank you.
The front of their hat. That's the way you do it.
Turkey boys, Thanksgiving boys.
That was the name of their gang. They were the Turkey boys, yeah.
I have been a supporter of Hassan for, God, what is my sub at now? I'm a good chatter, chat. I pay when I watch someone. I pay for it. I give them money. Hold on. What is my sub up to? Oh, there it is. 67 months. Oh yeah, and VIP for this channel. No big deal. You know, it's not a big deal. It's no big thing. No big thing. 67 months. Holy 67 months. My God, where did the time go? Where did the time go? Am I going to stream this weekend to pull refugees? DC is adapting the Russian Sun Superman? No, they won't. No, they won't. I watched the Red Sun. We did it on movie night. We watched Red Sun. And the first half of it is so good. And then after Superman becomes the leader of the Soviet Union and he like fixes all the problems with being being incorruptible and building society for the good of all and everything like that, they kind of like freeze up because they're like, oh shit, communism is so much better than capitalism. And so they just arbitrarily start saying like, well, people want to dissent because everything's too good. And he has like an alliance with some like villain who is like suppressing dissenters or something. And it's very cringe. And then Batman becomes an anarchist and just starts bombing and just doing random terrorism, which of course, but the first half, it's very funny. Hold on.
Hydroelectric station in the world. 10,000 of our bravest, strongest men worked ceaselessly to construct. But even with their sweat and toil, this dam would never have been completed in so short a time, if not for the efforts of a truly extraordinary young man. A young man I have come to look upon as both a great Soviet hero and a son. Comrades, I give you Superman!
Can't I just smile and wave.
We all must make sacrifices for the greater good, Comrade.
But this display...
You are a symbol for all we aspire to be. The people need to hear your voice.
Your words are extremely kind, Premier Stalin. Perhaps too kind. I am no hero. I am merely a servant of the state who seeks, as you do, to better the lives of our citizens. Yes, I work to protect them. Perhaps inspire them in some small way. But make no mistake, I didn't build this dam. The Soviet people did. And may it stand forever as an example of what we as a people can achieve here and across the world, so long as we remain united by our ideals.
Superman, the communist Superman. Haas-band? No, he's taking his first true vacation since 2018. He finds out like he becomes the leader of the Soviet Union because he disapproves of like there's like he goes to a gulag or something and an innocent person has died and he becomes the premier of the Soviet Union after this. He kills Stalin. It's so fun, but hold on, let me see if I can find this. It's so funny because like American Superman is comical. It's comical, but he's flying over 500,000 homeless people, and he's just like, "Well, that's the economic system. That's the economic system. I guess that's what we have to accept. I need to protect the banks. Someone's robbing a bank. I need to jump in and protect the bank." All right, let's get back to Bill Burr.
That's what I'm going to be taking 3 fucking days off this weekend for my brother's bachelor party, okay? So I'm not going to be here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, okay? I'm not going to be here anyway. I'm not going to be streaming regardless.
What international event is going to happen? What international event is going to happen? The aliens are arriving. We are going to launch a full-scale invasion of China. China will attack Taiwan. Oh my God. Taiwanese reunification will begin. Trump will eat an old McDonald's hamburger and die of food poisoning. The United States is going to invade Mexico. Benjamin Netanyahu is going to fall in the shower. Ghislaine Maxwell is going to decide she wants to kill herself suddenly. Schumer treated in a hospital in latest blow to aging Dems. You're only 74, dude. You're rich. There is absolutely no excuse to being at death's door if you're 74 unless you have like cancer. When you're that rich, you should be living your best life at 74. He's literally sits inside all day. He doesn't have to do anything. He's not out there breaking his back. He just sits there.
What you do, you come here and then you murder everybody that's here, and then whoever's left, you try to enslave them, but they know the land too well, and then you go to Africa and you fucking bring a bunch of people over, have them do all the work. Torture, rape, that's the right way to do it. That's the right way. That's how you come here. You don't jump over a fence and start picking almonds in the Central Valley for $2 a month.
You're doing a bit. We're on the train.
Huh?
He's doing a bit. I'm just making sure everyone knows you're doing a bit.
Oh, wait, this is a serious show?
No, this is not a serious show. This is the stupidest show in the world.
So I can't joke around?
We're joking. I'm just letting everyone else know that we're joking.
So you thought it was so not funny that you had to tell them that I was doing a joke?
I mean, a lot of people on this train are just going to work. We're two guys
Oh, look at you. Fucking lunch pail Larry over here.
A lot of these people, they're just trying to go to work.
You know, I read somewhere that Bill Burr at age 57, no offense.
Why would I be offended by that? At least I know what 4 seasons feel like.
The hotel?
No, you don't have spring and fall anymore. I had that for 40 years.
But I read somewhere that around it.
Honestly, chat, I gotta be honest. Like, it's true. I think I'm the last generation that's really, especially in like America, in the Northeast. The weather is so much worse. We used to remember when we used to have a lot of fireflies. Do you guys remember fireflies? We get like, I would say we get like one 1/20th of as many fireflies as we used to get. Fireflies, lightning bugs, they used to go fucking wild out there. I wish I had a recording of that. What it was like in 1992, early June. Oh, we had way more butterflies as well. And bees. I can't remember the last time I thought I was about to get stung by a bee. That used to be a constant concern. You would like check your like towel at the pool because there'd be fucking bees in them. A couple bees would land on them. Remember driving long distances and your windshield being covered in bugs? I think I drove like back and forth from Vegas to LA like 3 times without washing my windshield because there was very few bugs. Yeah, the reason why I wash my car now is dust. That's LA is a desert?
Age 57, Bill Burr is.
Insects are dying off at an alarming rate. 40% of insect populations have seen a decline in recent years and will drop even more without immediate action. 41% of insect species have seen steep declines in the past decade with similar drops. I mean, I thought it was anecdote, but this makes perfect sense. 76% of flying insects had disappeared from German nature preserves. Insect populations in pristine rainforests in Puerto Rico had seen dropping a factor of 60. Yeah, no, you guys don't know. It's actually crazy. I kind of think life is in serious danger from capitalism. Like the human race is dying off too. It's not just the insects. Like it's humans itself. We're in an extinction event. Capitalism is the virus.
Eased up a bit. I mean, he's a more relaxed guy. You don't seem very relaxed
compared to old me.
Yeah,
I don't seem relaxed. I'm sitting here with my legs crossed. First of all, you have been fucking argumentative the second we fucking sat down going, what is this? People trying to go to work. You're doing a bit, and then you fucking get me all right. This is what people do. Look at you with your dirty fucking pants. This is a show?
Where are they dirty?
What are you talking about? That whatever that stain is on your leg. I got to look at that this whole fucking interview? It's okay.
Why do you think I'm trying to rile you up?
Listen, dude, that's between you and your therapist.
No, I never rile people up. I've never had this review. I want to hang out.
So it's me. I get it.
This show's about hanging out.
You know what? I'm starting to understand how this is going to be edited.
It's going to be edited straight through.
Why is there 3 fucking cameras?
Well, that guy's on you. She's on me. That guy's getting B-roll.
B-roll is the lying roll. That's how you know, when I say a bunch of shit, then they just cut to you going, nodding like that.
That's me agreeing. Yes,
and then it comes back into me, and that's why I like Hitler. What? What happened?
Okay, by the way, I will say, like, just doing a recording in the subway is so intelligent because you don't have to pay for studio space. And it's like so dynamic and visually interesting and familiar all at the same time. Like that was such a good idea. They probably just did it because they didn't have any money, but who gives a shit?
There's the clip.
There's the clip. There you go.
God, this country is such a fucking dingy shithole, isn't it? And not in a good way. I like dingy shitholes. I'm not saying I do. I like dive bars. But goddamn, is this country a shithole?
Some of your jokes are about how everyone is mad at everyone else. Right now. This is a time where people are mad at each other. This guy's mad at that guy's mad at this guy, and no one's mad at the right people.
Yeah, they have states hating other states. You know, people in red states don't like California. People in California don't like Texas. And like somewhere along the line, we missed that it's the United States, and that we're all on the same team. And I wish people had the time to travel more, because the thing that I've learned going to all 50 states and going around the world is like the people that are on this thing, right? Aside from this occasional crazy person, are cool, and all they don't want a whole mountain of money. They want enough. They want to be happy, and they want to have enough money for food. They want to feel safe. It's a very simple wants. And these psychos at the top, they just get everybody all stirred up. This guy's causing riots in American cities. And, there's people trying to get to their apartments, and they're getting shot with rubber bullets. And we are so divided because of CNN and Fox News that as long as the bullets are going at the countrymen that are wearing the wrong tie, you somehow don't view them as on your team anymore. And it's a really dangerous time. It's really dangerous. And I don't think it's by accident. And I don't understand what they're doing. So I have faith, though, that through things like this and social media, you know, because you've seen it's brought down regimes around, you know, the world, that we can get on the same page. But one of the things I hate the most, people will write things like, I will never forgive people that voted for Trump. And it's just like, well, now you just caused division.
Yeah.
You want to bring them over. You know what I mean? It's like, well, you also just voted for a guy that should have been in a fucking home. You know, he's on his back porch talking to himself. You know what I mean? You also did that. So it's like, we've all made mistakes, and it's just like, it's okay to be like, yeah, hey, I thought the guy was going to do this, now he's doing that. You know?
I saw a great tweet the other day that said, I wish Joe Biden was alive to see this. Do you have any advice?
I will say this. I think that we should remain open to people. We should remain open to people 100%, like on that want to come over. But I think part of the thing is there's two strategies for being open to people. The first strategy is to pander to them. It is to kiss their ass. It is to like let them talk a lot and to kind of like nod your head like they have something to say that's important. And the other way to be open to people is they're allowed to join in, as long as they are willing to accept that maybe they're wrong about shit. And for you to just be out there acting confident and kicking ass and saying what you believe in a manner that is assertive and confident. And if people want to change their mind and come join us, come join us. I'm not here to do like a fucking investigation of everybody all day. And you're allowed to change and you're allowed to ask questions. But if you come in here with arrogance, if you come in here like you know what you're talking about, I don't think that the best way to change people's minds is to pander to those fucking losers. I actually think the best way to change their minds is to challenge them and to be like, your shit doesn't make any sense. Now, and the other thing I really would just disagree with everybody. It's okay to have enemies. It's really okay to have enemies. It is. Zionists are your enemy, man. You were never going to be able to see eye to eye because they don't believe in human equality. We're not going to be able to see eye to eye with Nazis. They don't believe in human equality. We're not going to be able to see eye to eye with racists. They're just wrong and they need to be beaten. Period. Dot. End of story. And some people who are currently racist or currently Nazis or currently Zionists, they're going to change their mind. But they're not going to change their mind because we kiss their fucking ass and pretend that they have a point. They'll change their mind if they see what we're doing and the vibes are good and it makes sense. And they have that moment of realization where they realize they suck and they're going to come along and change. I think the biggest mistake people make is the idea that you're going to change people's minds by kissing their ass. People see that. They see it as inauthentic. They see it as manipulative. They see that. And they say to themselves, this person is tricking me. This person is manipulating me. This person is selling something. People don't want to be part of somebody who's selling them shit. They want to be where the action is. And quite frankly, a little bit of exclusivity, a little bit of like, who are you over your shoulder and kind of like where people have to prove themselves a little bit to be part of the group. That works better than going, please join us. We love you. That's fucking creepy. So we need to have a left that's just confident in and of itself and believes it's going to win without going to right wingers and pandering. That is the story of Obama. That is the story of Clinton. Stop pandering to these right wing losers. Make your arguments. Believe in what you believe. Fight for what's right. And the good people will shake themselves out. They will self-persuade. Now, I don't want you to be an asshole to people that are asking questions. If someone is legitimately trying to ask questions, not sea-lioning you with bullshit, then yes, answer questions. Be friendly. Be normal. Allow people to join these spaces. But they have to, they don't get to go to the front of the line. They don't get to be in charge. We don't have to hear them speak. What's sea-lioning? Sea-lioning is basically meaningless questions that interrupt they interrupt what's going on to just keep asking questions endlessly. It's like, imagine a child who just keeps saying why. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine someone popping up and going, why? And it just never, jacking off is another way of putting it. Just asking questions where the questions don't seem to have any kind of through point except to waste your time. Now, a child saying why, honestly, Toasty, you're right. A child saying why is actually valuable. because it's a good way of like saying, what do I really know and what do I not know? These people, I'm just giving that an example of people being annoying. Fuentes is crashing out. Okay, dude. Why? Come on, man. Come on, man. Don't be a Kyle Kulinski and accidentally promote Nick Fuentes. Look at this video from Trump earlier. Okay, there you go. That's better. New York governor says she told Mamdani he has a lot of healing to do with the Jewish community. Too fucking bad. Fuck you, you fucking Zionist. Asked whether he'll appoint a special counsel on Jeffrey Epstein, Trump responded, I have nothing to do with it.
President Trump, would you consider appointing a special counsel to investigate the Jeffrey Epstein investigation?
I have nothing to do with it.
He is the guiltiest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen anyone guiltier. Okay, no, I have seen someone guilty. When Romeo ate Vio's entire Subway sandwich, Vio got a Subway sandwich, put it down, a submarine sandwich, on the table. Romeo, she left the room. Romeo walked in. He sat in her computer chair, and he ate her entire sandwich. And the only thing that was left was a couple sprigs of lettuce. She came back, and it was just gone. It was a foot long. Am I a connoisseur of hoagies? Of course, I'm from Pennsylvania. What the fuck kind of question is that? What kind of fucking question is that? We've got all the Italians over there. We got delis. Pennsylvania is probably the capital of sandwiches. We got Jewish delis. We got Italian delis. And the competition is fucking fierce. We got gabagool. We got pastrami. And that's why New York is also great for sandwiches. I mean, like, honestly, whenever you have Jews and Italians competing over the deli space, you're in heaven.
President Trump, would you consider appointing a special counsel to investigate the Jeffrey Epstein investigation?
I have nothing to do with it.
This motherfucker is running away. Oh my God, he's so guilty, dude. All right, let's get back to Bill Burr.
For a new dad?
Yeah, if any other parents try to say negative things, just don't listen to them. Like, oh man, buckle up, or wait till they get to this age. And for some reason, people that have kids that are even a couple of months older than you, they feel like they're these authorities, and they always, more times than not, forecast something awful that's going to happen. It's amazing. The whole thing is awesome. You know, obviously you're tired and it's frustrating, that type of thing, but don't listen to anybody. You know, are they doing this yet? You know, do they know how to ride a bike and all of this? I had somebody one time was asking if my kid was jumping yet, and I said no, and they were like my kid was never going to learn how to jump. You know what I mean? Like, it's like somebody created a chart to cause panic so people would bring him to a jumping specialist or whatever. They're just trying to vacuum money out of your pocket. So the only advice I would give you is people think they need a bunch of money to raise a kid and buy him all of this stuff. The biggest thing your kid needs is your time. That's the number one thing. They need your time.
I can give some of that.
Which is why I'm going nuts out here, because I'm 5 months into this fucking run, and I got to get home.
The jump to Broadway.
Yes.
What?
I like that. I liked that. That was nice.
Thank you.
That was smooth.
What's the biggest challenge as a professional comedian and a guy that stands on stage telling jokes to a lot of people? Now you're standing on stage reciting lines to a bunch of people. How does that feel? What's different about it?
All right, well, I've done stand-up, standing in front of a crowd, and I've acted in some like TV and movie stuff. So I've done both. So it's kind of like a little bit like combining both of those worlds, where it was like I'm doing the acting thing, except I'm doing it in front of a crowd. The crowd is subconsciously telling you to speed up, slow down, you know, whatever. The information's coming too fast, we're into this. And then there's also doing the same scene night after night after night after night. There's the fear at first of, oh my God, what if I forget my lines, which happened a couple of times. So it's alive because you're afraid. But then once you get comfortable, then this complacency comes in, and then the scene isn't as good. So you have to like, sort of like jack yourself up to the right place every night. It brought what I loved about stand-up into acting. And I would 100% do it again if I could figure out a way to not be away from my family. So they've been coming for like 1 week a month, which has really been like my saving grace.
Is Bill going to be a New Yorker? Is Zohran going to be? I kind of feel like New York is going to have even more of a moment with Zohran. It's going to become the cultural capital even more than it already is. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. LA is just not, man, like, I can't believe LA has such dog shit. It's incredible how bad the politicians are in LA. This is supposed to be the fucking home of Hollywood, and you have Karen Bass as your mayor? Thank you, VO. Mike, talking about how shitty the subway is, maybe remember how Norway called us undeveloped shithole during COVID? Oh yeah, we are an underdeveloped shithole. That's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. LA coasts hard on its weather. It really does. It really does. Everything that has been built, man, LA just bums me out, man. It does. It bums me out. It's like, man, this place could be so fucking cool. Like, people should be in trams, man. People should be in trams in LA. It's the perfect place for trams. Why the fuck are they not in beautiful trams? It's crazy. And there should be a good light rail system that's fast. You should be able to get from Long Beach to downtown in 30 minutes on a train. Max. I think you're wrong about Adila being better than Deja. Deja committed to voting to not send weapons to Israel. Adila only committed to supporting a ceasefire. Well, Adila has been pro-ceasefire from early on. Last time she talked about Gaza prior to the elections was she voted for an absolutely insane messaging bill. I'm not optimistic about it. I think neither one of them are going to be the most amazing rep. I want Deja Miller to lose because she's associated with right-wing Gen Z grifters. And I don't want right-wing Gen Z grifters to win. I want right-wing Gen Z grifters to lose. So that is literally what I'm telling you. And the fact is the alternative was better. Or not worse, which I think is fair to say. Did I say Leisha Miller? Deja Fox. Sorry. Deja Fox. My brain just had a fart. Deja Fox.
And stand-up comedy has. So a lot of nights after I do the show is I go to the Comedy Village, PJ Lander's place, and I just do a set. And it's a nice sort of like come down rather than just going back to my empty apartment by myself. That's like pulling like the emergency brake. Right. You know, it was kind of fun to go down and, you know, bomb a little bit. And, you know, it's not going so well. And then it's going well and the excitement of something new. And it's just sort of like palate cleanser, as they say.
It's a wind down.
Thank you. It's a wind down.
I want to do this portion called Takes on Takes, where I ask you your take on other people's takes.
Okay.
Take some takes. Take some takes.
The bathroom and toilet should be separate.
The toilet is in the bathroom.
No, in some places the bathroom, there's a washroom with a sink, and then there's a little water, like a toilet room.
I agree with that.
Yeah, because you don't want the...
Yeah, you flush the toilet and all the God knows what.
The poopy dust.
The poopy dust, yeah.
It gets on your toothbrush.
Yes.
100% agree.
The moon dust.
You like that?
I approve of that message.
You approve of that?
I approve
Okay.
of that message. That person's smart.
The point of everything in life is to get laid.
No.
100%. I agree.
What the fuck? This is literally like a tectone take, but he doesn't even fuck. That's the thing that's funny. It's so funny how there are guys who are like tectone are performatively sexual, but not actually sexual. There's like this right-wing thing where people are performatively sexual, but they don't actually have sex. I call it unreasonable virgin thirst. Yeah, it's fucking funny. There was a girl that had a take on this show. Yeah, that take is fucking terrible. That take is absolutely fucking terrible. It's like, it would be like saying the point of everything is to eat food. Like, you might as well just, never mind. I mean, I really enjoy food. I'm a foodie. The far less popular, far worse, far more cringe leftist Asmongold is live? Damn. One of the things that I really like about Asmongold people is, bro, no one could be more cringe than Asmon. Come on, man. Come on. Just say as cringe. If you want to insult me, just say as cringe as Asmongold, which would be an incredible insult. That would be a fucking mind-numbing insult. Like, you would be really nailing me there. You'd be really nailing me there. Unlock me. I like gourmet food. I enjoy openness to experience. I don't have, you know, I enjoy a lot of variety and diversity, and I appreciate the craft of food. But I also like stuff that's down to earth and simple. I really enjoy eating. Who doesn't, right? And if you don't enjoy food like that, I consider your life to be somewhat impoverished. Thank you, Anonymous, for the 10 gifties. I love you. the purpose of my entire life is not food. Food is just one of the more important experiences that we go through on a regular basis. And the same is to be said about sex. But if you're like, everything is about getting laid, you have an impoverished fucking life. And you probably can't fuck either.
Agree with this. Ever since I was a young man, from my haircut to my baggy pants to my skinny pants to my car with fucking sheepskin seats to the music I listen to.
This is the flaw in your opinion. You're not the universe.
But
just because you've lived your life that way, it doesn't mean that.
So what have you been pursuing?
Happiness.
Like, when you were little, you were like, I want to be happy. You weren't like, I want to get laid.
When I was little, I wanted to Tonka truck. What the fuck kind of question is that?
Well, I mean, Bill Burr is so right. What I always pursued in life is fulfillment. In some moments, in some parts of your life, getting laid is super up there. Getting laid in that moment is exactly what you need to feel fulfilled and happy. Okay? Sometimes that's right. That's the right answer. But everything? It's fucking weird. It's creepy. And also, that person's just lying to themselves. Or I honestly, I don't even know what to say to it. Because it's like, if you actually are having sex, and you're having satisfying sex, there's no fucking way you think like that. Unless you have some sort of addiction or fucking brain thing happening. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's a reason why we say post-nut clarity.
Like 18.
Oh, you're walking around 5 years old with perverted. Oh, look at over there.
Like when you're 18.
Hey, sweetheart.
when you're of age to.
Maybe you can keep me after class.
That was me. I mean, the minute
the majority of my shit has been so people will leave me alone.
Yeah.
Which is so funny that I did this.
I think Rome is guilty of the original case of cultural appropriation.
Were these takes picked in a lab to piss off Bill Burr? Every single culture is appropriation. Every single culture is appropriation. Thai culture is appropriation. Chinese culture is appropriation. I mean, China famously is the product of all these different kingdoms and empires and the various cultures clashing and assimilating. Greeks stole shit hand over fist. Egyptians, like, what the fuck are you? There isn't anything that isn't theft and mixing. There's no such thing as a pure culture. That would be insanely fascist and fucking weird. It wouldn't exist. It would be a dead marble block without even so much as a chip from a chisel. What the fuck are you talking about?
And the follow-up is that there's Jesus everywhere in Rome, but Jesus never went to Rome. They're the first ones that said, Jesus, let's put paintings and sculptures everywhere.
I'm going to have to say that's above my pay grade. I don't know enough about history.
That's what I said.
I'll tell you one.
Yeah, but Peter went. Peter went. That's the whole, crucified upside down thing. Peter went to Rome.
My favorite one is when I go to England and they go people over there, they're like, Roy, what's wrong with America? I'll tell you what's wrong with it. You fucking started it. That's what's wrong with it. And you go around the world, any place, if there's a country that's fucked up, there's a 90% chance that England was there. And they treated the lighter skinned people a little better than the darker skinned. They stirred them all fucking up. They were the original. England is the original CNN and Fox News. They got them all fucking killing each other.
Bill is mostly right, but he should add France in there. Add France, add Portugal, add the Dutch. You can't just give it all to England. Add Spain, of course. Add Belgium. Germany got in there at the very end to do a genocide. Germany was like, we're almost through the entire imperial period and we haven't done a genocide on a foreign country. And they ran to Africa and they did a genocide immediately. Japan? Oh yeah, Japan is terrible. What they did to Korea is crazy. What they did to China is crazy.
That's what it is.
They're the original.
Not realizing they're all on the same team.
Where are you going right now?
I don't know. Where am I going?
What are you doing on Wall Street?
Going to Wall Street?
Trading stocks?
I'm visiting my white bros down there, man, so we can fucking talk to the lizard people.
Well, Bill, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
All right. I hope I didn't fuck this up.
I don't think you did.
You didn't?
I have a great editor.
Oh, you
Israeli insurance is toast on any shipping it to the apartheid state because of the Houthis. Yeah, Israel scrambles to address maritime insurance freeze after Houthi attacks. Decision of U.S. insurer not to provide additional war risk coverage to vessels sunk by Yemeni group could have chilling effect on Haifa port. Didn't one of Israel's ports just go bankrupt? Eilat? Yeah. Israel has approached maritime. This is why people were so eager to call Hassan a terrorist supporter because he said the Houthis were going to affect Israel and possibly induce economic cost for the genocide. And people were like, oh, that means you're supporting terrorists. Did you guys know the European Union does not consider the Houthis terrorists? The European Union has not designated the Houthis as a terrorist organization. So people are like, you support a terrorist, you support a terrorist, but the fucking Europeans don't even think they're terrorists. So you're telling me that even the fucking Euros don't think it's a terrorist. What, we're supposed to just believe Israel and the US and pretend like there's some persona non grata group? Like, come on. Come the fuck on. And the United States didn't declare them a terrorist group until they started fighting back against Israel. And the thing is, if you're like, oh, my free trade, my freedom of the seas. Israel blockades Gaza. What about my freedom of the seas? I want to sail a ship to Gaza and sell food to Gazans. Why can't I? Because the Israeli military will fucking sink my ship or arrest me, just like they did to Greta Thunberg just the other week. Where's my freedom of the seas, motherfucker? But apparently that's fine. That's not terrorism. So again, the Houthis are not considered a terrorist group by the European Union. So the idea that saying they're not terrorists is a fucking joke, unless you think the Germans and the French and are terrorist supporters. That was Vosh's take. Leftists should support attacking global trade. Vosh thinks that we should have sunk supply ships going to Nazi Germany. Vosh thinks that we are war criminals because we sank supply ships bringing weapons to Germany during the Holocaust. Sounds like he supports the Holocaust. It's actually crazy that Vosh has any audience at all. That's fucking crazy, man. So more and more Democrats are bending the knee to Zohran. They're super fucking bending
New
the
York
knee
City's
to
race for
Zohran.
mayor. Today, Zohran Mamdani picked up a big endorsement, and Mayor Adams is trying to pour water on a new poll that shows him in fourth place. News 4's Andrew Sif has it all. He's reporting.
There's many Voshite infiltrators. There's a lot of people that are Voshites who abandon Vosh during the CP, but still support Vosh takes and still attack people like me and Bad Empanada. If somebody attacks me or Bad Empanada, 99.9% of the time, they're a former Voshite. 99.9% of the time. Or there's somebody who got tricked by them, which is even more embarrassing. He got caught with CP. Yeah, he streamed himself. He accidentally streamed his taxes folder, which showed a bunch of like lolicon porn. And it was like lolicon rape and shit with like a horse. I don't want to get too much into it. I'm sorry. I should have trigger warned you to describe it. But he's actually a fucking disgusting pedophile. This trailer just dropped a Swedish documentary about the history behind Israel-Palestine. Looks really good. Maybe we'll check that out. Can I be vulnerable? I watched him casually until the controversy that I looked into what other people were saying about him, never looking back. Here's what I would say. Just be embarrassed about that. Unsubscribe, delete all, say do not recommend channel. Just keep it quiet. Like honestly, the algorithm steered you wrong. You didn't know, you were vulnerable. But I would highly suggest never ever admitting that again. You really should just keep that quiet. Vosh son or H3 daughter. Looks like I'm leaving all my money to my cat. Abortion, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Washington Heights with the latest from the campaign trail. Andrew?
You have a cat? No. But I would adopt one just so I would not give them money.
Right, David. Mayor Adams pointing out that polls showed him trailing 4 years ago, and then he came back to win. More on that in a moment. But first, as you indicated, a key endorsement today right here in Washington Heights. An influential congressman backing Zohran Mamdani.
That's easy. He's as bad as he's bad, but nowhere near as annoying as Ethan. Yo, if your son is watching Vosh, that means his IQ is inherently low. Like, and also he's incredibly sus because of all the great leftist communities to be a part of. You're going to be a part of the weird sex creep, caught sexually harassing someone. That's the thing about Vosh supporters. Like a lot of them go like, I didn't know until horsey porn. But then it was like, bro, he sexually harassed Poppy. And then he like viciously went after this girl. Like wasn't his first sex scandal. Okay. Like, and his Discord is super fucking creepy. So it's not like if you were a member of that community, you were overlooking a lot of weird shit. Who would you say are the most credible leftist creators and communities? Myself, Hassan, Democracy Now, Majority Report. I like Denims, Caroline Kwan. And there's a bunch of other cool people. Oh, Yagopnik, Hakeem, the Deprogram Pod in general, Bad and Panada. And then, you know, I like other people a little as well. You know, there's other people on Twitch, the smaller streamers. I like Cinemarxism. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. I went way too hard on Cinemarxism. I like Cinemarxism. We're bros as far as I know. I went way too hard on him. I was using him as an avatar for an annoying anarchist, and that was totally unfair. So do not, and I want to say this, do not go in and act up in his Discord or in his chat. If you find out, I will be pissed. If I find out about it, I'll be pissed. Don't do that. Solidarity. He had a bad take I disagree with. Who cares? It's minor. And he supports Zohran. Okay? He is rightfully, and it's good to be rightfully, because we learned our lesson in the past. You should always remain a little bit skeptical about politicians. You shouldn't treat them like celebrities. He's right about that. I like Sean, of course. Oh, Chapo. That's another good place. Now, I personally feel like, Jay Marianne. There's a queen. I said Yugopnik. I'm not going to name everybody. But what about ContraPoints? No. Thoughts on Madeline Pendleton. Madeline Pendleton. Okay. I am not completely up on, I like Grem. Of course, like that goes without saying. My feeling about the TikTok ultras, I really like them. Oh, I like One Dime too. I like the TikTok ultras, but they have this very weird tendency where, I said Caroline already. I like them, but they have this weird tendency where they have to be like, no, all elections are useless. I don't believe in it. And it's just like, it's just one of those things that's embarrassingly wrong, where it's like, whether or not you think Zohran is going to accomplish anything, it's very clearly increasing the interest people have in socialism. So if you're a socialist, all you have to do is absorb more people are interested in socialism because of him. That's all you need to say. You could you could be cynical and say he's not going to be able to achieve anything, or whatever he does achieve is not that significant. It's not going to give us socialism. I think that's pretty obviously true, but I think it's just dead wrong to close the wide end of the funnel. I think of leftism as a funnel, and that's why I support people like Hassan and AOC and Zohran. It's not because I think they're going to deliver me the outcome that I want, but it's about building a wide funnel that people can be sucked in. And electoralism versus revolution is a false dichotomy. People being interested in elections is not diverting people away from waging revolution. Revolution happens when the conditions exist. And electoralism, meaning voting for somebody to try to get reforms done, does not block revolution. Unless you believe in accelerationism, in which case I don't think you've read history, because it doesn't work. What's more accelerationist than electing Hitler? And yet, a socialist revolution did not blossom in reaction to Hitler winning. That's the worst possible government you could imagine, and it did not result in a socialist revolution. So making the conditions worse sometimes just makes the conditions worse. So what I'm trying to say is it's a false choice. You could believe in revolution, and you could support electoral efforts that will improve the conditions of the working class. Even if you think they're ultimately going to fail, that's the wide end of the funnel. This is what we call hybrid Marxism, or so-called centrist Marxism, which says that you should pursue all available avenues. All available avenues. A reformist is somebody who says you could only get socialism through elections. Does anyone think that? That's a straw man. No one, I don't even think people like that. Like, maybe some weirdos exist like that, but does anybody think that? That's a straw man. Nobody thinks that. So I think it's foolish to just avoid the masses because they pay attention to elections and go, those people they're wasting their time. And it's like, well, wasting your time can be a radicalizing moment. Don't you understand? Like, if Zohran goes into office and the Democrats abandon him and block all his policies and ally with Trumpism, that's going to radicalize people to the left. The experience of him being fucked over and rat fucked and betrayed is going to radicalize more people. So if you're right and he's going to be fucked over, that's good for you. That's what it doesn't make sense to me. So like, I pursue Zohran, and because I think the policies he's pursuing are going to help people, which is good. And I believe he's one of us, that in that he's a socialist who hates Israel or opposes Zionism. And so him winning is proof of our strength, and him being fucked over is a radicalizing moment. And I also think Zohran, he may be forced into conceding things to the right because of fear, but he'll still be weaker of an oppressor, and he'll block more oppressive shit than somebody like Cuomo will do, who is Netanyahu's fucking lawyer. So it doesn't seem to me that you're actually making a point that is substantive to me. That's why I consider myself a centrist Marxist or a hybrid Marxist, whatever you want to call it, in the sense that I don't think electoralism or revolution is the answer. The answer is whatever you could do in the moment that's going to push the ball further. I'll give you a sports ball analogy. It's like different teams have different offensive strategies, right? Some teams really focus on the run game, right? Controlling the ball, long drives, grinding yardage. They're a run-heavy offense. Some teams are a pass-heavy offense. They pass the ball. Every run team throws the ball, and every throwing team, runs the ball sometimes. It's depending upon what personnel you have. It's depending upon what conditions you're in the game that determine what tactics you do. I do not foreclose any tactic. I use whatever tactic I think will be effective. That is what I think a revolutionary would do. That's what I think a socialist would do. A highly pragmatic, and they would measure themselves against the conditions they're in, and they make the best possible decision they can to move the ball forward. That's what I believe. So my disagreement with Madeline and CJ and some of these other people is that I think they misunderstand the sequence of events that will radicalize the masses and lead to a successful socialist. I think they underestimate the value of a electoral project in galvanizing people and radicalizing people. And I think that if even the most common sense examination of politics in America over the last 20 years will prove what I'm saying to be true. Bro, this is Twitch. Give us the analogy in dungeon raid terms, not sports ball terms. Okay. Sometimes a fight is melee heavy and sometimes it's ranged, right? If you go into every fight saying I'm going to have melee dominated build, you're going to get wiped on the fights that require range damage. Sometimes you need off tanks and sometimes you don't. If you do not change how your off tanks are playing based on the fight, if there is nothing to off tank, then your off tanks should be doing DPS. You change, your raid strategies, your hybrid build. It's like, think about hybrid classes, right? Like hybrid classes, they shift between different roles because different fights require different roles. So when you have a feral druid in a DPS race, they're in cat form. You need to have different classes, different builds, and different strategies to deal with the encounter that you're fighting. You don't just do the same fucking thing with every fight. All right, is that better? It's Marvel Rivals. You don't play the support role. It's strategists. Yes, the best supports in Marvel Rivals can see. The thing about playing in Marvel Rivals, that's another analogy if you're a Marvel Rivals guy. Marvel Rivals is about making picks and finishing kills, not about DPS output or healing output. It's about healers that prevent deaths, and it's about finishing kills. That's how you win in Marvel Rivals. If you're sitting there putting out massive damage and all that happens is the other healers are farming alts, you're going to fucking lose. If all you're doing is throwing out healing and letting the other side's DPS farm fucking, if the other side is like finishing kills, but you have high healing per second, you're going to fucking lose. Anyway, let's keep going.
Meanwhile, the rest of the general election field remains crowded and contentious. Continuing his momentum from winning the primary, today Zohran Mamdani got the backing of Congressman Adriano Espaillat, who had supported Andrew Cuomo this spring.
This is the moment where we begin to come together as Democrats in this city.
Espaillat said he and Mamdani aren't on the same page on every issue, but agree on tackling affordability. As for their views on public safety and international crises,
when I met with the congressman, the questions he asked me were not about himself, were not about politics, they were about people.
But Mayor Adams has been making the case Mamdani is dangerous.
He wants to empty Rikers Island. 7,400 of the most dangerous people in our city. He wants to empty Rikers Island and have them come back to the communities that they offended.
The mayor trailing not only Mamdani, but also former Governor Andrew Cuomo in recent polls. And many New Yorkers tell poll.
Any plans to replace the award or maybe show a pic of him for the uninitiated? Yeah, I'm making some Romeo-related things for merch.
Pollsters, they remain undecided.
I'm not leaning towards anyone yet, and I'm not sure who I'm going to vote for.
Adams has called on Cuomo to drop out so voters have a clearer choice. Cuomo has not campaigned in public since losing on primary night. But a Cuomo spokesman today said of Adams, he's so underwater with New York voters, he should consider growing gills.
He underestimated Eric Adams, a former cop that knows what a bully looks like.
Speaking of cops, several business leaders have asked Mamdani.
So what's happening here, just so you guys understand what I disagree with people about, these people are not running against Zohran, right? These are Democrats that are in office now that disagree with him on issues. When they bend the knee and endorse him, they're voting for his issues. This is what people don't understand about voting. If somebody inside their head has a bunch of dumbass takes, but then they vote with somebody who has good takes, they've effectively, constructively gotten a good take by accident. So when people are bending the knee to you and they're not making you change your positions, they are constructively taking on your takes. And that is why allowing people to bend the knee, allowing people to endorse, even people you don't like, is a smart move. Because as long as Zohran recognizes these people as long-term enemies and he continues to put pressure on them to change their policy takes in the long run, he's doing the work. We are in the position where Zohran could be defeated. All right. So we need to get him to 50% plus one. And if he is not changing his positions, I'm going to back him 100%. Now, if he is changing positions, well, then we need to start yelling at him. That's what's different about this than, say, vote for Kamala. Because we're the ones that are yelling at them to vote against what they believe, not the other way around. If they're voting against what they believe, we're winning. If Zionists are voting for Zohran, we're winning. As opposed to the other way, when you were yelling at people to vote for Kamala, it was vote to endorse the genocide. It was telling us to abandon our views on the genocide and vote for Kamala anyway. This is the exact opposite. People who are supportive of the genocide are now having to vote against it. That's called winning. I know it feels weird. I know it feels weird to win. But that's what it's like when you end a game and you have more points than the other side. You do what's called winning. So normally if you lose all the time, the end of the game is a really painful period. Have you heard of the Seriously Wrong podcast? You should link me it and I'll look at it. You are the most pathetic little man on Twitch. What an absolute moronic clown. What have you accomplished in your sad life? You are over 40 with no kids, not married, barely a Twitch audience. You cuck yourself for the femboy terrorist Hassan. You have the most cringe cuck video on the internet. I've never seen a more pathetic interaction with a woman before. That was my girlfriend, man. That was my girlfriend who I dated for 6 months. What? None of that stuff you said is true. Also, I mean, I don't know, dude. I guess making hundreds of thousands of dollars on Twitch every year. I don't know what else to say. Like, what? And what have I accomplished? A lot. Bro, like, what are you talking about? Like, here, honestly, like, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on Twitch. I'm 5th if you don't include bots. If you're talking about an unbotted channel, I'm the 5th. All right, who are we following? Who are we following? Yeah! Check that PC. We're gonna check your PC, man. We're gonna check your PC. All right, who is your first follow? Who got you to Twitch? Drew So Good. I can't say that I'm familiar. Is this your alt? I think one of the things about you, my friend, is you know that Ethan Klein doesn't know anything about me, right? You know that Ethan Klein doesn't know anything about me. You could literally watch this stream from today and debunk what you're saying. When did how old is that channel? How old is that guy's? Oh, fuck. How old? I wanted to, hold on. Let's take a quick look. How old is this account? XGoreXX 2013. And you're watching this? Sus Eye Tracker Challenge. Sus Eye Tracker Challenge.
We're not trying to frick a back to you. Hello? Is my audio right? No, it ain't. Wait. Just set. Chat, yes. You want to listen to this? Listen. Just set. It is time. Okay, here we go. Chat.
Listen, if you like, listen, I'm sure that person, I don't know that content creator. I'm not saying they're bad or anything. But yo, dude, yo, come on. You're like 35, man. Like, you're like 30 fucking 5, man. Jillian is cool. I'm sure she is. That's the VTuber who's famous for making fun of George Floyd's death. Oh, okay. Is that true? Listen, I don't know them. I'm just reading chat. I am not trying to fight with some random VTuber that I don't know. Fillion is very yikes though. Ooh. They follow Pippa, who is a Nazi. Oh. Oof. I think at the end of the day, all I'm trying to say is like, bro, like, come on. Come on. Fillion is basically what I'd call the tech-toad space of Twitch. Yeah.
Chat, think about it. I'm not the real streamer, you guys are. You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking. Chat, that was an epic quote from George Floyd. All right, is she on drugs or something? No, not right now. All right. Was that edgy or not? I'm so sorry, chat. I'm sorry. That was a little.
Listen, my general feeling is I'm not here to be the joke police. Try to at least be funny. You know what they say about comedy, chat? Comedy is about getting away with it. Comedy is about getting away with it. If you could get away with it, if it makes everybody laugh, then it's not a problem. That wasn't funny. So that's why people bring it up, because it's not funny. Typing W Tectone, the ultimate botter, the most botted channel on Twitch, is the top botted channel. The original quote is art is getting away with it, but comedy is Pete getting away with it. Yeah, that's how you know someone's funny, is when they get away with shit. Bill Burr gets away with shit. He did a joke about seeing a woman getting domestically assaulted on TV, and he got away with it because it was funny. Now, is it good to joke about domestic assault? My answer to that would be, did you get away with it? Were you actually making fun of the domestic violence victim? No, he was making, but here's the thing. There's a reason why the joke works. He wasn't making fun of the domestic violence victim. He was making fun of us and our reaction to the news. And he was asking us, how are we supposed to process and react to that kind of negative information that we have no way to intervene in? How do we maintain our sanity? That's what the joke was about. It wasn't like, haha, it's funny when women get beaten. It was more a meditation on how do we as a society react to getting that negative information? How do we cope? And is humor appropriate as a coping mechanism? That's what the joke was about. Now, some people will look at that and go, it was a domestic violence joke, and domestic violence jokes are bad. And those people are scolds. Who's closer to Carlin, Burr or Burnham? I would say Burr, because Burnham is too depressive. I don't think that Carlin was a depressive. Burnham is more of a depressive type of personality, which there's nothing wrong with being a depressive personality. It's totally okay to be depressive. You're just asking about styles. Every time I hear someone say, I got a wife and 2 kids as a talking point, they're divorced. Here's what I want to say. Are they happy? Is your wife happy? Burnham feels like a nihilist. He's not. I look at Fillion like Emaru of VTubers, not really controversial for the most part, but she's friends with everyone, even shitty people. I feel like birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. If you're like hanging out with Tectone, then like you're kind of revealing your kind of who you like and who you hang out with. I mean, it is what it is, right? I'm not here to, say these people are bad or good. It's just birds of a feather, man. A lot of people are pick-me's. Pick-me content is a very, very big part of the internet. Minstrel content is a very, very big part of the internet. And, Gen Z and millennials try to act like they're so evolved. but they have a lot of pick me behavior. Pick-me. They like what people, I mean, it is what it is. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep pushing it. Do you want to see Superman? Denims is asking me to go to see Superman. How about we figure out the time not in chat? How about we figure out the time not in chat? Come on, Dennis. We'll figure out the time not in chat. Come on, Dennis. Israelis and Zionists are freaking out over it. That alone makes me want to see it because they're evil. It's pro-dog and anti-Zionist, so you're saying Superman is me. I'm Superman. I saw a clip from the Superman movie, and it made me want to see the movie. And it was very, I'm very millennial coded, sorry. So it is Superman cringe. It did make me laugh. Killing the IDF with a giant middle finger is exactly what I need right now. Like if I was the Green Lantern, I'd be in Tel Aviv, specifically targeting only military forces. Shai Davide is having a meltdown right now. Half the reason I watched it was for the haircut. I mean, bowl cuts can serve after all. Bowl cuts can serve. All right.
Let's talk about the Democratic leadership because the polling, you're right, the polling, and there's a new poll out from Gallup. 30% say immigration should be reduced. That is down from 55% last year. It is a 25-point shift on.
Well, it's almost, and the thing that's the most important about this, the thing that like really makes this, I personally think that if you want to deal with the right wing, the one thing the right wingers don't like is when you fight back. If what the right wingers want you to do as a left winger is appeal to their humanity, is to be earnest and be empathetic and be like, these people are hurting me and I'm an innocent victim. You know, the type of shit that would work if you were talking to a liberal. That's what they want you to do. What they don't want you to do is be like, wow, Ethan Klein sexually harassed an underage terrorism supporter on his stream. Ethan Klein, here's the Ethan Klein N-word compilation. They don't want you to give the exact same energy back. Terrorist victim. Did I say terrorist supporter? Sorry. He sexually harassed a terrorism victim of the Boston bombing. Did I misspeak? Oh, omega lol. Whoops. And they will go like, what happened to the tolerant left? They're so mean. There is no tolerant left. There is no tolerant left. I do not tolerate the intolerable. Do you see how Tectone was acting all happy and up his own ass when he was harassing people? But the moment we started exposing his father as a fucking convicted sex criminal, he was crying within a day. Like, don't worry. Don't fucking worry. We're going to continue. We're going to fight back. When they go low, we go lower. That's how you get these people to stop talking about you. That's how you get these people to start walking away, is draw the lines in the sand. The soy boy Chud from before got his 2013 account nuked. Oh, fuck, that's funny. User not found? This soy boy cuck came in here saying that I am a weak cuck, whatever the fuck, and within 20 minutes, his entire internet, he disappears. Dark woke. And what's really funny is every single thing he said is wrong. I'm not saying this as a brag, just as a statement of fact. I am well off. I am, believe it or not, one of the most successful just chatting streamers on the internet in the English language on Twitch. That's just a fact. I haven't been single. I mean, the longest I've been single in the last 10 years is 6 months. Like, it's just not, none of this is true. They just live in a fantasy world of their own creation. They describe themselves incels, failures, with nothing to show for their lives. And they come in and they try to project that on someone else to give themselves some catharsis. But at the end of the day, they are nothing. And if you put the microscope on them, if you return the serve, the only thing he said in Zach's chat was, I bet he's got a huge cock. So many conservatives are simply men who are raised in homophobic communities, and they have an intense sexual urge toward other men, which they then displace into aggression. This is an underestimated element of conservative politics is a lot of what they do is this like deeply closeted anger and frustration. That's why they target people who are openly gay, because they're jealous. They're jealous of gay men having the bravery to live their life authentically. They cannot handle it. He was right. He said, you're not married and you don't have kids, but he said, you want that? He said, it's as a known. I have exactly as many kids and wives as I want right now. If I wanted to have a kid, I would have a kid. Load the last messages. Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. Matter, you got to tell me. I'm not going to just randomly just free scroll. You got to tell me what the good stuff. I swear to God, chat. I'm not trying to pre-watch Universe. Yes, call them out on their homophobic nonsense by calling them the one thing they hate the most, being gay. They don't hate being gay. They're jealous of people that are gay. Gay people are fucking awesome. Do you know how much courage? You know what a gay person isn't? Cowardly. Do you know how much courage it takes to go out there and wear like itty bitty shorts and walk around with little face speech and having your hand out there and go, and just going out there knowing there's fucking homophobes that are out there that are going to try to crack your skull? Being a queen is one thing. It's brave. I wish I was gay. It would be fucking cool as shit, but I'm not. I just don't have that in me. But I respect them. I respect that. I respect living your authentic life no matter what other people think. And they can't handle it. They hate it. They fucking hate it. That's what they hate. They hate about their own cowardice and their own fear. Maybe bi-curious. I just don't like men. I just don't like men. They're just unattractive. And I don't really like, you know, I'm not really, so that's just my take, you know. I just don't find men attractive. That's it. For real, I don't know why I like men. Liking men is perverted. However, being gay is less perverted than being a straight woman, because gay men are very, you know, this is some stereotypes, but in general, gay men tend to pay more attention to their appearance and fashion and working out. I actually think that being a straight woman is a fetish, because you have a sexual attraction to the least attractive men. It's fucking weird. It's perverted, honestly. Being a straight woman is fucking perverted. It's like, I like that he's slightly stinky. I like that he's wearing like clothes that don't fit and aren't really like coordinated in any way. I like the fact that his hair is kind of cut shittily. I like the fact that he's not very emotionally intelligent. It's kind of fucked up to be attracted to that. I'm sorry. I like, you know, it's like most men don't even understand, like, know about periods at all. It's like, I like the fact that he has absolutely no empathy for what I'm going through. It's like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Like, there has to be some deep evolutionary like urge that's baked into your brain that is pushing you towards those men. Counterpoint, Pedro Pascal. Counterpoint, one of the hottest men in the world. One of the most desirable people in the world. Counterpoint. Dude, Pedro would be cleaning it up. No, anywhere. Keep talking, you're about to get a subscriber. Well, listen. At the end of the day, if you want to take on the right, you just have to be confident in yourself and keep on plowing. What are they going to do? Insult you? Oh no, a right winger. Look at these motherfuckers. They're hiding behind VTube avatars or anonymous accounts. Like, who the fuck are you scared of? Ethan Klein? Asmongold? Like, come on. Tectone? Deactivated his entire account. Bro, you're 35 years fucking old. You came into my chat trying to like troll me, and I counter-trolled you so hard, you deleted your whole internet. Who's in charge? Who's the big boy? I took on Ethan Klein and Asmongold and Tectone at the same time, and no one in my chat even know. Like, half these people don't even know that I'm fighting with these people because they have so little juice. He's so ashamed of his own behavior, he deactivated. Get that, guys. He knows what's on his hard drive. He knows what's on his hard drive. I have a 2012 account and I'm only 27. Okay, first of all, only 27, number one. Number two, that was 13 years ago. So you made an account when you were 14. You were barely allowed to have an account. You were barely allowed to have an account. I'm not going to assume that everyone was 13 when they made their account. Bro, is this the guy? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it does check out. It does check out. That being said, he deleted his account. Let him hide. It's okay. It's okay. I am going to save that, though. I am going to save that in case he tries to come back. I'm pretty sure that's him, but I'm not 100%. Remember when you looked like a disgusting cuck in that cringe video with that woman? You've never touched a woman in your life. Rope. That was my girlfriend at the time. I was feeling awkward because it was my first time on an IRL stream. Now what? Now what? Oh wait, he's got some followers. Oh boy. You deleted your entire video collection to try to type in my chat? Got a Facebook though. Did you delete that? Oh no, you hid your Facebook too? Wait. Come on. Sort clips by all? Oh wait, hold on. We're gonna find it. Hold on. There aren't any. I think one of the funniest things about the funniest thing is about the Mike cringe clip. DSA cringe in the chat. Everybody DSA cringe in the chat. The funniest thing about that is they're literally, the guys who are trying to spread it literally are making it up. They're literally making shit up because they know they don't have anything real. The reason why that exists is because it was a funny clip of me being embarrassed on my first stream. That's it. But they've created this thing where it's like, he was going up to a random woman and touching her. And it's like, that was at the end of a 5-hour joint stream we did. And I was telling her to turn it off. And I was new to streaming. I stupidly thought that you shouldn't be mean to people when they're making money on Twitch and telling them to turn their shit off. I felt like awkward about it. This is it. And the reason why they saved it is just so they can make shit up on it like a Redditor. It's like a Redditor taking a picture and going, of somebody at a birthday party and going, this was my mom's last birthday party before she died of cancer. That's what it is. Netanyahu announces Israel is going to occupy southern Syria.
אני מבקש לעדכן אתכם מה עשינו בסוריה ומה נעשה בסוריה.
Like, that's it. And they have to make up that story. And you know who clipped that clip, by the way? It was Moon. That's the funniest thing about that story. The background of that story is so funny because it's called Mike Tries It #2 because in Mike Tries It #1, that was another clip that basically she was inviting me into her hotel room in Mike Tries It #1. And I said no. Now, the reason why it's called Mike Tries It #2 is because it is the very end of TwitchCon. Like, the deep lore of that shit gets even funnier and funnier and funnier. And like, so it's always a joy to think about it because it's like, damn. And the reason why it was clipped and spread is because Destiny was mad because apparently she was like one of his, like they had some sort of relationship in the past and he was like jealous. So Destiny has kept it. It's a literal cuck clip of Destiny. Destiny made that as a raging cuck. So every time someone posts it to me, it's so fucking funny because it's just Destiny's cuck rage. And these guys are coming here going, look at how much of an incel you are. And it's like, no, this is a Destiny cuck rage clip. It's like, but this is like the deep lore. And it's so fucking funny. It's so fucking funny. And he literally obsessed over every single video and every stream we ever did together. And he tried to keep any time there was any kind of tension or the vibes were off, he kept it. And this is 6 years ago. Isn't that fucking weird? It's like, it's stalker shit. It's literal stalker energy. So these guys are coming in here and that's what they try to spin. Does this guy have any kind of like, okay, About 7 Orphans is also what you guys should look. About 7 Orphans, which is a very sus fucking name for your gaming team, bro. Very sus gaming team name. You've explained the cringe clip so many times. Why do people keep posting the couch shit? It's just like, it's because, again, it's all a Destiny cuck rage. That's what it's from. It's Destiny cuck rage. They're playing. It's so embarrassing for me to like look at them and be like, oh my God, dude, you got manipulated into like spreading cuck rage. Holy fuck, that's embarrassing. So it's fun to teach you guys about it because I don't want you to think he clipped it. He clipped it. That's what's so funny about it. the reasons why the clip and the story behind it appealed to this guy so much is because it's his anxiety. It's his anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he deleted it. I just made you delete your entire internet history, man. And you're 1981, you're older than me? Damn, dude, you're 4 years old? Bro, come on, man. Come on. Are you married? Fighting the battle for a sex criminal and a guy who's so fucking agoraphobic, he lives in the same cockroach-infested hovel he used to live in when he lived on welfare. He's a multi-millionaire, and instead of moving his mother to like a clean new place so she could, you know, recover from her lung issues, he kept her in this fucking pest-infested hovel, and he still won't move out. It's sad, dude. Like, literally, it's sad. I'm not even making fun of him. I'm just sad for him. Like, he's literally mentally ill. This is the guy you're watching. This is the guy you're taking shit from. A guy who needs help. And none of you want to give it. None of you want to give it. And now he's advocating to make the world a worse place. I'll miss your uploads, Devin. What was that guy's Twitch name again? I'm curious. Can someone type it out? Imagine being a 44-year-old and falling for the soy rage of a cuck. God damn, that's embarrassing. Ooh, there we go. We found you. Your last stream, you had 2 average viewers. I don't mean this to like dunk on you or anything, man. Like, I don't mean this to like to cuck you, so to speak. It was back in April of 2025. I'm not trying to like big dog you or like flex on you or anything. You streamed for an hour, peak viewers 3. You gained a follower, not bad. But if we look at my very first stream, I did it on a laptop using my the laptop was already 3 or 4 years old. And I had a built-in camera, like an integrated webcam camera from the laptop. I used wired iPod earbuds. So it was August 1st, I think. My very, 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 very first stream, I averaged 25 viewers and gained 33 followers. The worst day of my streaming career would be the best day of your life. That's the difference between me and you. Any advice for new streamers? Yes. My advice for new streamers is, first of all, you need to be authentically yourself. Don't copy somebody else's homework. And interact with communities and content that you already you like and you agree with that's similar to you, but create your own fresh niche. So interact with communities, provide value to those communities, but have your own niche. That's my advice. Also, be reliable and be steadfast. And like, ultimately, if you do those things, if you have talent, you'll have a shot. But it's a lottery ticket. It's a lottery ticket. You know, there's no guarantee to success. I had a lot of random things happen to me that I didn't realize were good until later. The other thing about me is that I am steadfast. Literally no one can ever make me stop. No one can ever keep me down. My mental is like a fucking diamond. That's like, no one could ever intimidate me or make me worried. So that is also another element. Like, if you have that kind of attitude, if you can handle being criticized, if you can handle fighting people, then you'll do well. How did you start by averaging 25? I told you, chat. I was a producer at the Majority Report, where I had been calling into the show since 2015. So I had been a producer on the Majority Report in early 2018, I want to say. I also called into the show starting in 2015, but my big call that kind of made me more prominent was my call after 2016 election. Is it true that you have to be a narcissist? My friend wants to be a streamer, but he is too self-conscious with low self-esteem. Self-conscious and low self-esteem doesn't mean you're not a narcissist. I think narcissistic traits are incredibly common, but narcissism is about delusion, not self-love. That's why my moniker is Mike from PA, exactly, because I called into the Majority Report and I was Mike from PA. So I just kept that. Self-consciousness and low self-esteem often result in narcissism as a way to cope. Oh, there you go. And the thing about being on camera is you get used to it. You realize that you're going to embarrass yourself and the world is not going to end. How did you balance live streaming with having a job? I would stream late at night or early in the morning until my stream got to the point where I've set a goal for myself. I said, if I make $5,000 a month streaming, then I'm going to make it my full-time gig. And I accomplished that goal 7 months into my streaming career. And that's when I went full time. Ethan Klein and Destiny are such terrible people because they're narcissists and they know deep down they are worthless. Of course, yes. They both have the reason why they're fixated on me and Hassan in particular is because they are narcissists and they are inferior to him. Like in every objective measure, they are lesser, and that pisses them off. I can recognize where I sit in the world. You know, I have some influence. I have a relatively successful stream, and I want to do better, and I want to have a more positive impact on the world. But I'm not the fucking end all be all. I think I'm pretty good at political analysis, and you know, I take stands and I make hard predictions, and if I'm wrong, I get proven wrong, and if I'm right, which I often am, people can see that to build my credibility. Anyway, sorry about that. Sorry for doing that, chat. I just want you to understand that the best way to handle those guys is not just to ban them, but to expose them. These are the guys that were confident enough to come in here. I showed them a mirror. I'm going to show that guy a video of me playing Agar. It's better. Okay, wait, we also have this. All right, chat. This is more views. Because I clicked on your thing, this is going to be more views than you ever get. But I care about you. I don't want you to kill yourself. So I want to give you some attention. He got an iron cross. He's got arms as skinny as mine, and he's wearing he has an iron cross guitar. Come on, man. I'm glad you have a hobby though. That's good. I like music. I like metal. You got good guitar playing talent. You have that going for you. Well, the thing about playing guitar or any instrument is that there are people that are far more talented than you. No matter how good you think you are nothing but an amateur. And I don't say that to like hate on you. I just say that as you should be humble, and you should create art for the love of art. You should create it because it makes you feel fulfilled, not because you want to like show that you're better. And you can make beautiful music. You can do it. Anyone who's a guitar player could tell you he's actually not playing. Is that true? I don't know. I'm not a guitar player. He's also doing covers. I doubt he has the creative ability to actually make art. He actually just by the way, man, did you know you violated copyright? By doing a cover, you violated copyright. And you can get sued for that. Like, you are actually violating copyright. Mike, I'm 26 and paint cars and make $150,000 a year, and I'm somewhat happy, but I work for my father's body shop, so I work 16-hour days and weekends most of the time, and I'm being exploited. Is there anything I could do? Well, if it's your father's shop, go speak to your father man to man and be like, I am your son, not your slave, and you're overworking the guys, and I know how much money you make, and I want a raise, and I want you to give the guys a raise, and I think we need to hire more people, and we need to work less hours. Fuck you, Dad. That's what I would say. Sanders told Mamdani more carefully address what he said about Israel. Ignore this. Ignore this terrible advice from liberal Zionists. Liberal Zionists are dumb as fuck. Okay, I gave that guy way more attention than he needs. Do not listen to liberal Zionists. They are, at the end of the day, Zionists. Listen to what the voters want.
If he wins in November, to keep Adams'
play a song
police...
I made it for the Palestinian genocide instead of getting minutes to this skinny guy. If you want to get a song looked at, you should set it to the mods. Current win rate 29.23. Is that good? It doesn't sound good. It sounds bad. He only wins 47 of pistol rounds? That doesn't seem very good.
Commissioner, I'm wondering if you can tell us where you are on that.
So for many months over the course of the primary, I have said that I would consider keeping on Commissioner Tish, and I've said that in admiration of the work that she has done as the commissioner, and especially the swift and decisive action that she took to uproot corruption out of the upper echelons of the police department.
Mamdani said it would be premature to go any further than that initial assessment of the police commissioner. Meanwhile, he's set to meet next week with Congressman Hakeem Jeffries, who has yet to make an endorsement. We're live in Washington Heights. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jamie Poisson. Establishment Democrat.
The Canadians are talking about it even. The Canadians are talking about it even. All right. Our favorite centrist chat, our favorite weather vane, moist critical, our enlightened algorithmic centrist,
be painfully
the ultimate centrist, The man who follows the algorithm. He has a take on Jeffrey Epstein.
Obvious to anyone that's been following all of this that it is clear the government thinks that you are an idiot. They think you are a drooling, stupid Cro-Magnon that will just happily swallow anything they put into your mouth and not think anything more of it, so they don't even need to try when it comes to the cover-up of the Jeffrey Epstein case. There is now a desperate push from Trump and a lot of paid shills to convince the public that the Jeffrey Epstein thing is no big deal and that it's all now a hoax. It has now been officially labeled by Trump and people on the payroll here as a hoax. And they are legitimately laughing at you and actually giggling. They cannot help but have like an actual Santa Claus ho 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 belly laugh at this play here, this fucking play that John Madden's playbook wouldn't even have in it, about how they're just going to tell you that all of it's not real a week ago, and now they're telling you it is real, but it's actually like a big fake hoax from Obama, Hillary Clinton, and the Democrats. And for some people, that's enough. He hit the big buzzwords, so it must be true. So now a lot of people are running with that, like, we gotta move on from this Epstein thing. It's all fraudulent. He said so. Even though Trump literally campaigned as one of his promises to deliver this Epstein information, the client list. Now he is calling it a hoax. Now I want to mention something up top here that I'm very curious to see how it plays out. Yesterday I covered the amendment that was put forth that got fucking smacked down at the Royal Rumble, where there was an amendment put forth that would try and force the DOJ to release the Epstein client list and all that shit. And it got voted against unanimously by the Republicans voting to block it. Democrats voted unanimously to not have it be blocked, so that way they could at least have a debate about the Epstein files and the handling of it. It didn't go to the next step. It got stopped there. And there was a lot of like citing of confusion and how like, well, actually, no, that's not what the vote was for because it was attached to the Genius Act, which is a different cryptocurrency legislation. So they were voting to not do that, and then this was slapped on top of it, so they had to vote no or else it'd give the floor to the Democrats or something. But ultimately the end result was the same. It got blocked. Well, today there's a new proposal that's getting put forth that is aiming to do something similar in a different way, that has support from all the Democrats and 7 Republicans as of now, but apparently even more will be co-signing it, about releasing the Jeffrey Epstein client list and that kind of shit. So I'm very curious to see how that unfolds. I'll go ahead and play you a little bit here where they interviewed.
And tomorrow. And this is to force, this is a discharge petition, right? It's going to force this bill onto the floor of the House, and then what does it say?
So it's both the discharge petition and the bill. It's the discharge petition is to force it on the House. The way it works is Thomas Massey and I introduced it yesterday. It takes 7 legislative days before you can actually go through the discharge petition. We're likely going to be in August recess. So the reality is it probably will come up for a vote after the August recess, and the bill says to release all evidence for the Epstein file, but it makes it clear that does not include any of the victim information. It does not include any child pornography. It gives the DOJ the ability to protect the victims, but to release all the other evidence and files.
So here.
Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable person. I'm a fucking Neanderthal when it comes to most things, but from the sound of things here, it seems like this is a step in the right direction to maybe finally getting justice for the victims here of Epstein and all of his clients, instead of what's currently happening where the current administration is just trying to bury it and being very clear that they're not even fucking pursuing any kind of action against all of the people they have all this evidence on and not releasing any of the client list information. This seems like it's trying to force that to come forward and maybe eventually, hopefully, get those criminals thrown in jail for all of the crimes they've committed. I guess we'll see how it all shakes down, but I wanted to mention this up top because it seems like it is finally getting to a point where there is some kind of legislation being drafted to try and push this issue more forward. Now, let's talk about how Trump continues to handle this. He is like full-blown melting down about the whole thing and fully lashing out at his own base now. He is attacking even his most adamant supporters over the Epstein case. He's even saying with his whole floppy chest that you are a bad person if you care about the Epstein stuff, saying that it's boring and nobody should care, even criticizing his own base, calling out his most loyal MAGA supporters, all the enthusiasts, calling them weaklings if they care about this and how they're falling for a big scam, hook, line, and sinker into a...
By the way, like weeks ago, like not even a month or so ago, they were saying like, we got they did a whole thing with the Epstein list where they handed out those dossiers. She said she had the list on her desk. And now he's saying, oh, it's a Democrat conspiracy. Oh, no. We gotta, and Democrats should use this to destroy the Republicans on this shit. If fence sitter Charlie is telling you the federal government, yes, of course, he's the ultimate fence sitter. If the fence was a giant dildo, he'd be sitting on it. If Moist Critical is saying that this is bad look, we should absolutely be joining in. Resurface video shows YouTuber Bad Empanada loudly proclaiming, make hummus for Hamas. Everyone condom hummus right now. Everyone condom hummus right now.
I have to wear shoes so you guys can't see my feet and post them on feetwiki.com, obviously. So now we've got 5 breads. So we're going to get the most recently cooked ones because I like them the most. And we're going to put them on a plate. So we got 3 pieces of beautiful bread and we're going to put some hummus, oh shit, on the side. And then we're going to eat it. And this is the finished dish. I call it hummus and bread, empanada style. God, this is hard to do with one hand. Make hummus for Hamas. I have to wear shoes so you guys can't see.
Be careful, Bad Empanada. Ethan and Gila Klein can use the wealth they've looted from their multinational corporation Teddy Fresh, makes the clothes in Chinese sweatshop, to lobby Javier Milei and his allies to make this video of those expressing similar sentiments illegal. What I love about Ethan Klein is like, he'll be like, communism is terrible, we hate it. And then my entire business depends on China and exploiting workers there. They were bawling and crying about their toddler core pastel, elder millennial brand from, was having to pay tariffs for the clothes they brought over from overseas workers who get paid shit. Amazing.
Democrat galaxy brain chess maneuver here. And actually, like, I wasn't exaggerating. They are literally laughing about it.
It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
So there you hear it. Now, to some of you, the copium's going to set in. You're going to say, hey, he said the credible information, we can release it. We should release it, and we'll talk about that. But they also say in the same interview, we already released the credible information.
And the credible information's been given.
So if it's already been given, they're not going to give you more stuff.
CoffeeZilla recently just covered this section here beautifully. I'm just going to show you a couple of clips here from it where that guy next to Trump actually couldn't contain his laughter. He was howling like someone went over there and started tickling him because of Trump's statement here about Epstein, calling people bad people if they care about this. Literally one of the biggest pedophiles in history. Now all of a sudden it's boring, nobody should care, and actually you're a weakling, coward, weirdo, loser, bad person if you do care. So he's trying to get people to like attack others who give a shit about this, which is crazy. Because imagine being this brain dead fucking bumbling homunculi on Twitter that is now attacking people that are calling attention to this. When keep in mind, Trump himself actually had a crucial component of his campaign talk about the Epstein client list and all of that information and how he was going to be so transparent and release it to the public because of how important it is. Not just Trump, other people in the administration as well made same promises that are now flip-flopping on it. This is pure concentrated lunacy. It is unhinged. And I cannot believe that he is just saying this. Like, not even like tiptoeing around it. He is just full-on saying it. Fucking wet spot in his goddamn diaper here, just saying it in front of the cameras multiple times now. Like, this is an element you won't find on the periodic table, the element of surprise, because I am shocked by this and how people are actually okay with the statement. He is saying that you are a piece of shit if you are trying to get answers about the biggest child predator of all time and all of the evil associates that are getting away with the unthinkable crimes they committed. There have still been no arrest or anything even close to it, and he is now calling even people in his most tight-knit groups of enthusiasts that sing his praises and suck farts out of his butt all fucking day, calling them weaklings if they care about this. It's unbelievable. Oh, also, there's a little interesting tidbit of lore about the guy who was laughing next to Trump.
The guy next to Trump looking on and laughing as Trump says this is a big nothing burger. The only people who would deal in this kind of talk are fake news. I feel like
I should just watch the CoffeeZilla video. I feel like I should just do that. I feel like I'm reacting to a react. He doesn't even link it though. Doesn't even link it. How come these like YouTubers talk so much shit about like streamer reactors and then they react to people's stuff and they don't even fucking link it in the description or anything? Like you hear so many of these people talking about like, I can't believe somebody walked away to take a piss. And it's like, it's on the Voidzilla channel. Okay. That's why I didn't see it. He wants to bury the Epstein files. Worst cover up of my lifetime. The story keeps changing. I mean, goddamn, he's cooking with these Epstein file videos. I guess we found a new grift that we need to get involved in, chat. We need to start making Epstein videos. Everybody start linking me Epstein shit so I can make Epstein reacts. I need to make Epstein reacts. How come all these like, didn't that Nux guy say that the Democrats wanted to show people CP because they wanted to see the Epstein files? There's like there's two types of right wingers. There's the right wingers who are helping Trump cover it up. And then there's the right wingers that are like, wait a minute, this is sus. Even Philly D decided to make a video.
This is the worst cover up of my lifetime, the Epstein case. The reason I'm talking about it so much is because if you can get away with this, you really can get away with anything. If the government can tell people to not believe what they just said a few months ago and have everyone be fine with that, that's just a level of gaslighting that I refuse to be a part of. Never forget, they just promised us names in the release of the Epstein files.
Breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
What kind?
A lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals that were hidden and kept secret and not been held accountable.
Yeah, well, apparently there are no names to be given. No list, no blackmail.
Anonymous gifter, thank you for 10 more gifted subs. I really do appreciate it. You're the best.
Epstein has now been pushed as a lone trafficker. It's the lone trafficker theory, guys. Essentially, the government's memo that they just released contradicts everything we've seen before and now basically implies that Epstein was trafficking to himself and Ghislaine Maxwell was trafficking to Epstein, and there was no other blackmail or trafficking going on. That's what this memo essentially implies. His wealth and his power then would be just from his skill as a New York financier.
I'm talking about Jeff Epstein, the New York financier.
Basically, he was the world's greatest tax advisor by day and the world's greatest trafficker at night to himself. And the rich and powerful people who all flocked to him and to his island had no idea of this double life. That really is kind of the heart of the modern theory, is that just all Epstein by himself, and then his friends just were there for his tax advice, despite not being a tax professional or a lawyer. Not only that, another huge revelation is the fact that really the government has increased the number of victims and decreased the number of perpetrators, right? We had the idea that there were these other perpetrators for a while, that they were just redacted because the government was building cases. Now we got pretty clear statements that there isn't evidence to bring to future.
To be honest, I don't really believe this would cause any downfall of Trump. Wrong, 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 wrong. Open presents. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate you. All right, chat. Are we close to a hype train? We gotta be. Did we have one recently? No. Chat, if you enjoy the content, please consider supporting it by subscribing. My sub bar has been broken for a week, and therefore everybody forgets you're supposed to subscribe because there isn't a bar to fill up. Now you guys forget you're supposed to subscribe. It's like, oh, I guess we're not going to give Mike any money now because he didn't have a bar on the screen that gets slightly bigger every time I sub. If you, Ken Coldblood with the 64 months, let's go. If you enjoy the content, support the content by subscribing. A lot of these are gifted. There's going to be a big fall off from the gifted subs, and you don't want these guys to feel good about themselves. Anytime my sub count fluctuates, in order for us to feel good, you have to subscribe. Chaotic good empanada. He's just lawful good. What do you mean? Empanada is trying to enforce international law. That's the ultimate lawful good. He's a paladin. He's a vengeance paladin. Lawful evil is fucking Israel. Okay? He's a vengeance fucking paladin, lawful good. And we form his shield wall. Exactly. We are his squires. Israel is chaotic evil. Everything they do is legal in Israel. Haven't you seen their Supreme Court? Anyway, chat, if you enjoy the content, please consider supporting it by subscribing at tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 sub. Right now, you'll get Puffer Pop. I guess if we hit level 10, you will get the Puffer Pop emote. You guys have Puffer Pop? For a sub, a resub, a prime sub, a gifted sub, a resub, or 200 bits, you will get Puffer Pop, which I apparently don't have. And remember, chat, the top sub gifter and the top bit donor will be given the conductor badge, a golden locomotive next to their name. You consider yourself a leftist and you don't have a locomotive next to your name? How dare you? Mike, I saw a loot train. Have you ever had one of those? Yes.
Cases on third parties. But if you look at the original 2019 indictment, it says dozens of victims. This is from Ken Klippenstein. But the Epstein review says over 1,000 victims. So what happened, guys? And by the way, in the interim, they also increased the number to 200 to 250.
200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250, actually.
So we went from dozens to 200 to over 1,000 in the span of basically a year in terms of victims. We like 10x the number of victims, but now there's no perpetrators. Like the perpetrators have been reduced. That is the crazy thing about what they're implying here, what this lone trafficker.
Well, basically, the lone trafficker theory on its face doesn't make sense. Why was a billionaire giving Jeffrey Epstein money? How did Jeffrey Epstein become rich? Like, what were the trades that Jeffrey Epstein made? How did Jeffrey Epstein become wealthy? What is his private trade book? Explain how he made the money. Let's go. Let's see it. He was being paid tens of millions of dollars by the founder, or excuse me, the guy who stole the founder title of Victoria's Secret. He had hundreds of cameras on his property. He had an island. He had flight logs. He claimed that the first time that Trump and Melania had sex, they did so on his plane. Like, come on, let's see, let's explain it. Hamid Fist, thank you for the 20 bomb, by the way. Hell yeah, brother, appreciate you.
Theory is pushing forward. It's also strange because previously, Epstein, in a court filing, is said to have provided information to the FBI as agreed upon. Case agent advised that no federal prosecution will occur in this matter as long as Epstein continues to uphold his agreement with the state of Florida. So apparently there was some deal where Epstein was providing information to the FBI. What information? We don't know because no one else was involved. There's also the simple fact that if you go to the FBI records, what they call the vault, most of the files are just heavily redacted. So the idea that we got some transparency wave is literally a joke. Yes, it is true. There's no Epstein list where there's like names written down, but names exist in documents, on videos, in images, and they're all redacted. What's going on here? They're going to say, oh, it's all for the victims, right? But it's not all victim names. In addition to that, this lone trafficker theory is already on shaky grounds when you think about Prince Andrew's settlement with Virginia Giuffre, where he paid $16 million to make civil sexual assault allegations go away. Now, of course, it's worth saying that he did not admit to guilt. This was a settlement, but that is what you're always going to have with these rich and powerful people. In the same way, you also have Leon Black, who reportedly paid $158 million over 5 years to Jeffrey Epstein for tax advice. And guess what? Leon Black, billionaire, also paid the U.S. Virgin Islands $62 million in cash as part of a settlement, a non-prosecution, where they wouldn't go after him for anything from, quote, any and all claims of any nature whatsoever, specifically related to Jeffrey Epstein. It's worth noting that $15 million of this cash payment will be going to counseling programs and activities or mental health services. You also have Jess Staley, the former boss of Barclays. He directly admitted to having sex with a member of Epstein's staff, which you would expect if someone was running a trafficking operation. Although, I just have to say, that there was a statement that this was entirely consensual, and I'm not saying anything about that. I'm simply saying the idea that Epstein was just trafficking for himself is unlikely to be true, in my opinion. Later, Staley wrote to Epstein, "Say hi to Snow White." Epstein replied, "What character would you like next?" Staley responded, "Beauty and the Beast." And then Jeffrey Epstein said, "Well, one side is available." Obviously, some type of coded message. You can read into that for yourself, but all of this is public. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what makes the government's memo so infuriating, is so much reporting has already been done. These settlements with powerful figures under denials, yes, but also—
Alex, thank you. No chat, Hassan is not banned. He's taking some time off for the first time in a while. You mean ever?
So under very
I think Hassan's break starts tomorrow, chat. I'm gonna do my regular stream Friday. I will probably do another stream at night. That's my guess. And then I will be doing some, I think I'm gonna do some afternoon streams. Probably starting somewhere around, like, I want to say like 2 on Saturday and Sunday. We'll see. We'll see if I decide to start early or not. But we are going to be doing the weekend streams. We're going to be doing it. Because I don't know about you, chat, but there is going to be a major world event. There is going to be a major world event. When Hassan is not streaming, and when Hassan is far away from his computer, a major world event happens. The invasion of Ukraine. The death of the Queen. It's inevitable. We have a hype chest, chat. And we got everybody spam your choo-choo. We got Puffer Pop. Look at that. Thank you for participating in the hype train.
Questionable circumstances make just a complete denial and statement that all of this was just Epstein impossible to believe. In September 2009, Epstein also emailed a woman named Irina to tell her that Jess Staley is staying in the Berkeley Hotel in London tonight. Staley emailed Epstein the next day to say, "I should have taken your offer," according to the Times. There's also this book by one of the 60 Minutes correspondents called A Ticking Clock, where he says that he met with Ghislaine Maxwell, and he said, "I want the tapes," I said to Maxwell at a table at Regency Bar. "I know he was videotaping everyone. I want the tape of Trump with the girls." She didn't deny the existence of the tapes, but said, "I don't know where they are." He apparently replied, "Ask Epstein," and she gave him a stern look and pointed a finger at my face. "I'm the daughter of a press baron. I know the way you people think. If you do one side, you must do the other. If you get tapes on Trump, you have to do Clinton." Now, again, what you make of a third—
Here's the reality, is that the centrist Democratic Party is just as implicated as Donald Trump in the sex tapes. That's why they're not fighting hard on this issue, even though it's probably deadly for Trump. It's also deadly for some of the worst centrist scumbags in the party. So they're the people that are in charge of the Democratic Party. That's why getting rid of them is so important, because I don't know about you, chat, but I don't care if Bill Clinton's legacy is ruined. He doesn't have a legacy anyway. Who gives a shit? Throw him in the volcano.
Third-hand source like this talking to Ghislaine Maxwell, who apparently doesn't deny that some of these tapes exist. Was she even telling the truth or just playing some game? Either way, this was all known about, not just by people after the fact, but allegedly by people during the fact. This is from Mark Epstein. It's sourced from Jeffrey Epstein. Quote, "If I said what I know about both candidates, they'd have to cancel the election." That's what Jeffrey told me in 2016. So not even Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell allegedly were claiming this was all just between them. They were constantly insinuating that there were compromising things on very—
He had a giant painting of Bill Clinton in a blue dress. The reason why they would cancel the 2016 election is because both Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Donald Trump were all implicated with Jeffrey Epstein. It's not complicated. Let's say it loud. Let's say it proud.
Powerful people.
Centrist Democrats are the actual traitors to their party. While progressives often get accused of undermining the Democratic Party, the evidence shows that the moderate wing that most violates the vote blue no matter who principle. It's almost like I've been saying this since 2020. I've actually been saying it for before that. I debated Sam Cedar on vote blue no matter who and Bernie or bust. I ended up voting for Biden, but I called into the Majority Report in 2020. I think they even posted it. And I also talked to him after the 2024 election, and I said the same thing. Please show this to Vote Dem Sub. I left due to a rule that said you can't call for a primary challenges to sitting incumbents. Not much different from the Trump cult. Post basically any sub heavily populated by neoliberals. Neoliberals are ideologues. They don't care about the Democratic Party, just like you shouldn't. Neoliberals are happy to be allied with Republicans. They're not Democrat partisans. The only time they pretended to be Democrat partisans is when they had a stranglehold on the Democratic Party elite. And when neoliberals are, since they're losing that stranglehold, they don't give a shit about Democrats. The moment the Democratic Party starts having social democrats and socialists in it, neoliberals will leave like that. They don't fucking care about vote blue no matter who. They only cared because they could use it as a cudgel. Vote blue no matter who is a very cult-like phrase. Amazing. This is in our politics? Amazing.
What's funny is that Trump himself, even before he was in a position to declassify this stuff, had accused other powerful people of doing these things.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
You also have the fact that Jeffrey Epstein was in touch with other convicted Larry Nassar, he was writing letters. So the idea, once again, that he was just by himself, off by himself, doing things on his island by himself, and then taking calls with people like Bill Gates simply for philanthropic advice, really pushes.
Mike, would you explain why Trump outing as a pedo would be detrimental to him? Because most people find pedophilia disgusting. Most people find pedophilia disgusting. And so every persuadable person who is not a complete ideologue freak will abandon Trump. And so, sure, 30% of the country is a Republican freak. Let's say that's true. That means 70% of people are against him, which means what? It means a mega landslide against Donald Trump and the Republican Party. It means a massive discrediting and demoralization of his supporters and any marginal supporter. Why do people have trouble understanding this? You don't have to go to 100% to win. You just have to go to 50% plus one in enough places. I don't care if a bunch of Republicans remain evil. It's about everybody that we can change their mind. And as long as there's a majority of people that we can change their mind on, we have hope. It's like, I can find a bunch of freaks that don't care about the truth. Well, who gives a shit? Are they the majority? No.
Okay, you start and I'm ready.
In the wake of questions and allegations about Donald Trump's behavior towards women, ET discovered this footage in our archive, which we provided to CBS News.
Soon. Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it? Okay.
That's not even the most creepy video. The most creepy video he has is what he's like talking about how he would date his daughter and shit.
The bounds of belief. Don't forget, a close associate of Bill Gates was named a fallback executor on the will of Jeffrey Epstein, which he, by the way, said he was shocked by and he deeply regrets meeting Epstein. Bill Gates has said similar things to that effect. Of course, Bill Gates fraternized with Epstein after he was convicted of crimes. Previously, he told the Wall Street Journal, I didn't have any business relationship or friendship with him, but in fact, he met multiple times with him at his Manhattan townhouse. Now, once again, I have to say real quick, all of these people are innocent until proven guilty. All of them deny doing anything untoward. But my point is, there are already too many associations to make the lone trafficker theory make any sense. For example, Jean-Luc Brunel was somebody who apparently trafficked a bunch of people to Epstein, who himself abused a bunch of women and even was charged for it. He was charged for some really awful things and then later found dead in his cell. Interestingly, Epstein was actually a financier of Brunel's modeling agency where a lot of this alleged abuse happened. So once again, the idea of the lone trafficker just doesn't make sense because Epstein's directly linked
There's
to
no way you can get access to thousands of young girls, thousands of them on your own. Like it's literally impossible. He would need to have connections to where young girls are. That's just a fucking fact. So the idea that it's a low trafficker is literally covering up a pedophile ring. It has to be.
Another guy who is also abusing women. So after all of this, they're really asking you to believe the unbelievable. They're asking you to not believe what they've said about this case, both out of office and now in power. They're asking you to not believe public reporting linking Epstein to other known pedophiles. They're asking you not to believe suspicious circumstances regarding settlements of powerful people. They're asking you to believe that Epstein was just the greatest tax advisor and financial advisor on the planet that all of these billionaires needed to consult, despite the fact that there are entire organizations built around providing the same services as this without the, links to crimes. They're asking you to believe that when people are talking about Snow White and Beauty and the Beast, they're referencing Disneyland. And they're especially asking you to believe that they have found 900 new victims since reviewing these files and exactly 0 new perpetrators.
And what's really crazy about this is, like, we know and we have known for a while that Donald Trump is incredibly sexually interested in his own daughter, especially when she was young.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird. Stop
You know what? What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex.
What?
Sex, but I can't relate that. Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't.
Okay, I gotta back that up all the way.
Common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that. If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it! Oh, it's so weird.
He's a fucking sex criminal. Look at this shit.
Investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
Wait, that's the that's the Mondami billionaire, the guy who was yelling about Mondami, Zohran's Casamides. Yeah, that's the grocery train guy. The grocery chain, the Casamides guy. Oh my God, he was yelling about how much he hates socialism and he hates Zohran Mamdani. Do you see what I mean? It's the centrist Democrats. They're just as much mixed up in this as anybody. I'm probably the first person to notice this. Dad. Hassan is going to take 3 days off for his brother's bachelor weekend. The billionaire's dinner. Hasn't she been prosecuted? Model pilot who helped Jeffrey Epstein groove victims and romped with teen girls while he watched. Hasn't been seen instance document reveal. Okay, so they just literally let them all escape. It's the elites. It's all the billionaires. Why were they given immunity? What the fuck? By Bush? They were all given immunity by Bush? Told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone.
To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that.
Once for Jesus. I need to hire, excuse me, blunts for Jesus. What the fuck? But he does Kanye dog whistles? No! You know what happens, chat? Without socialism, your ass turns to stupid anti-Semitism. Come on, man!
So, I'm just not buying it personally. I find it insulting to the intelligence of every single person who's ever looked at this story. And yeah, it really makes me feel like this was a appropriate time to launch a crime is legal merch collection, to be honest. So yeah, this is probably my last video on this for a while, but just disgusting.
My last video on this for a while, he says. Does 3 more videos. H3 subreddit just launched a site to collect info on bad empanada. Okay, don't link that shit. Don't link that shit. So H3 is literally just doing stalking shit? Wait a minute. They're literally just doing doxing websites connected to the Reddit? I'm sorry. r/H3H3 Productions. That's what it is, right? Well, can you show me where that video has been linked? Casey Tron does a protection spell against H3. Casey Tron is legitimately funny. And the H3 viewers can't help but laugh at her, how funny she is. Look how funny Casey Tron is.
What I am about to do now, and this is
okay, let's not fucking watch it in the H3 subreddit. What am I doing? I need to get you guys over to tiktok.com/KCTron69. Okay, there's KCTron69, KCTron. There she is. Why did it delete? This shit needs more likes. What the fuck? I hope she DMCA's that account. Stealing her video, uploading it on H3, just stealing it completely and uploading it instead of linking to it. What the fuck? And of course, the H3 subreddit does not care. That's like literally just stealing her video. There's no edits. This is actually, they're such fucking scum, dude. They don't believe in anything, like literally nothing.
what I am about to do now, and this is really important that I do this. I'm about to do a protection spell on myself against Ethan Klein. I'm going to be summoning protective energies to try to just keep me safe during this time. Protect us from Ethan Klein. Protect us from his wife. Protect us from that bald man, Dan. Protect us from Epstein. Protect us from Diddy Dan. Protect us from AB. Protect us from Olivia. Protect us from the H3 podcast and all of the affiliates. We need your protection, goddess. Shamanana, Shananina, Lalabana, Balalabsa. Help us. Shiminanana, Ashamanani Samanasha, Ashamanani Shamanasha. Protect us from Ethan Klein. Protect us from his wife. Protect us from the viewers of the H3 podcast, the viewers of the H3 podcast, wishing people harm, wishing women harm, wishing mothers, sisters, daughters harm. All of the incel energy and the interwebs right now call upon Jin from it.
She's so fucking good, dude. If you don't like Casey Tron, what's wrong with you? Make sure you follow Casey Tron on TikTok and you like this video, and I commented, chat, that this is white magic. That's the good kind of magic. The other thing I would say, chat, is Zach didn't even get mentioned because nobody knows who the fuck he is. He's like the biggest Zionist toady, and nobody even mentioned him, and no one even knows who he is. Oh, fuck. Who exactly?
First, the Epstein files were on Pam Body's desk. Then they didn't exist. Then they were written by the Democrats. Now they're just plain old boring. You don't want to see what's in there.
It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
So there you hear it. Now, to some of you, the copium's going to set in. You're going to say, hey, he said the credible information, we can release it. We should release it, and we'll talk about that. But they also say in the same interview, we already released the credible information.
And the credible information's been given.
So if it's already been given, they're not going to give you more stuff. Now, funny enough, the guy next to Trump looking on and laughing as Trump says this is a big nothing burger. The only people who would deal in this kind of talk are fake news. That is Epstein's neighbor. That is Howard Lutnick, who has a house that was next to Epstein's place. You can see him laughing here. It's even been reported that Howard Lutnick's place actually literally touches Jeffrey Epstein's house. That's how close their two houses are together. That's the same guy laughing at a statement by the president that Jeffrey Epstein is boring and there's no reason to look into him. And if you do, you're a bad person.
Really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going.
I almost don't have words for this.
Chad, I have words for it. It's called Duper's Delight. When sociopaths manipulate or lie to you, they do this thing where they involuntarily and inappropriately laugh or smile. So the topic will be something serious, something like where you're like, why are you laughing? Because they can't help but do it. It's one of the biggest tells that sociopaths do when manipulating. It's called Duper's Delight. In search of duping delight, deception has been long assumed to conjure diverse affective experiences. Liars, more than truth tellers, are theorized to feel guilt, fear, and nervousness. Additionally, deception has been proposed to elicit positive affect. Eichmann, not Eichmann. Oh, that was a bad pronunciation. Broadly defined duping delight as any positive affective experience that occurs in the anticipation of, enduring, or following a lie. For example, in a study of emotional high-stakes lies in which people pleaded for help to find a person they had recently murdered, smiles were described by Burke and Porter as a sign of duping delight. So, like, this is something that has been known of for a while. So people literally lied about committing first-degree murder and smiled. Can a sociopath get help? Sociopath is a neutral descriptor. It is not saying someone's bad. Sociopathy has to do with the emotions that you feel. You could become a pro-social sociopath. There's anti-social and pro-social sociopath. For example, I'll give you an example of a pro-social sociopath. Many surgeons are sociopaths, and that makes them better at their job. The fact that they do not get emotionally burdened by going into high-stakes situations where they need to do damage to the human body can be pro-social. Oftentimes, sociopaths are more willing and can handle taking risk. So things like firefighting is a place where being a pro-social sociopath. So it's what you do to others that determines whether you're anti-social or pro-social. Sociopathy or sociopaths feel a certain type of way, but they could use their reason, they could use their intellect to construct empathy. They can treat others because they've decided that treating others well or treating others fairly is actually going to lead to them being treated well and fairly. You know, so the answer is yes. You don't have to be a bad person just because you're a sociopath or you have sociopathic tendencies or you know, not true. It doesn't mean that you have to be bad. It's just saying that this kind of behavior is observed in antisocial personalities. Watch this to make Tesla stock go up. U.S. set to impose 93% tariff on battery material from China. It hasn't gone down that much. They don't believe it? And by the way, inappropriate laughter doesn't always mean you're lying. You could just be nervous. So there's nothing that always tells you when someone is lying, right? There is no something like that. They literally think Taco Trump, he's not going to do it.
To be calling it boring to be talking about one of the world's largest predators of all time and trying to figure out who the powerful people are who are connected with this guy, especially when the former neighbor of said predator is standing there laughing as you say that everyone interested in this case is somehow fake news or a bad person. You can see this both in property records and in public press statements at the time about Epstein's Manhattan townhouse, saying that Howard Lutnick of Cantor Fitzgerald bought the adjacent smaller townhouse owned by Lex Wexner. That's one of Epstein's famous benefactors. And in fact, Epstein owned the house that later got sold to Howard Lutnick. You can see he owns the trust that owned this house. Later, of course, it goes to Comet Trust and then to Howard Lutnick. Supposedly, the property was sold for $10 in cash value and some other equivalent things. We don't know how much, just to be clear. So maybe it was a fair value price. And maybe they don't know each other. I want to be clear that Howard Lutnick denies knowing Jeffrey Epstein or being associated, so we have to get that in there. But the optics of this are just completely insane, and anyone who's paying attention should not expect any further disclosures from the FBI, DOJ, despite the fact that Trump is sort of about facing on this and saying, well, we can give over the legitimate files. But as we just showed, the legitimate files they're claiming they've already put out. Here's Donald Trump saying that the Epstein files, once again, are a hoax, but he also says that they can be released if credible.
And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, you know, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden information, you know, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well. And it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
So that's the second time now he's pushed it off on his attorney general to now handle. But I just don't think this is meaningful because, like I said, they've already said they've given us the credible information already. I think basically they're going to kill it from here. That's my guess, especially since we did get a word from Pam Bondi about this when asked. She basically said we're just going to defer to the memo.
Would release credible files related to Mr. Epstein. Are you prepared to do that, and when would you do it?
Our memo today, our memo speaks for itself, and we'll get back to you on anything else. I haven't seen all of his statements today.
So I think that shows pretty clearly that they're going to just continue barreling down this path while giving people a bone as far as making it seem like they might release something. This is a common smokescreen that we see where they will kind of bait people like, maybe we'll release something, maybe we'll release something, maybe, and then every 12 months or something, they release something of complete non-importance. The problem is when people like this control the files, anything but a full release besides the CSAM and victims' names is not going to do it. You have to, the only way to do something like this is to release all of the files, except for those small categories. That's the only way to build back trust. But clearly that's not what's going to happen. And anyone who's paying the slightest bit of attention to what our leaders are actually saying, they are absolutely telling you they're not going to do it. They're all deferring to each other. Trump's deferring to Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi's deferring to the memo. And ultimately, no one is going to be held accountable. Now, there have been some political games played with this, with the Democrats trying to get the Epstein files released. And this was actually blocked.
I always think it's hilarious that he keeps saying Biden is incompetent, couldn't cite his own orders, documents, but is somehow the master behind the Epstein thing. You'll see this often with fascists. Fascists are frequently, they create enemies that are simultaneously weak and very strong. But if you understand fascism, you understand that they know that they're lying about their enemies in both directions. Because if an enemy was actually strong, a fascist would be kissing their ass because that's what they are. They're hierarchists. They support those that are strong. They think might makes right. So if your enemy is strong, then your enemy is right. That's what they believe. So they don't target strong enemies. Okay, that's number one. All right. And number two, the enemy is weak. That is actually to encourage their supporters to target the vulnerable. And pretending that they're strong or aggressive is how they rationalize their attacks. Because remember, fascism is might makes right. And so if you are mighty, they will say you are right. So the best way to fight fascists is to be as strong as possible, and they'll surrender. Just like Hitler did in his little bunker.
By people in Congress, which is just so mind-blowing to me that people would actually say no to releasing this, but they did.
Saying aye? Aye. Those opposed say no? No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it. The amendment's not agreed
Chair,
to.
I'm kind of shocked by that. I will ask for a roll call.
5 yeas, 7 nays.
The amendment is not agreed to. And I think most of us believe what's appropriate will be released when it is time for the president to release it.
Well, Madam,
thank you.
So there you see it. We're just supposed to blindly trust that they're going to release it. Honestly, I have no faith in any of this. I think this is all political theater. Honestly, the people who are like, oh, look, it's just the Republicans. I mean, we could have released this a long time ago. To be honest, I don't trust any of these people until I see actual documents released. I believe this is all theater. I don't actually believe they're going to get this done. I think they could have been doing this from the very beginning. And truth be told, we've seen our government protect Jeffrey Epstein for over a decade. This didn't start in 2019 when he died. This has been going on since the early 2000s, from his first plea deal where he got a non-prosecution agreement. I mean, we have been protecting this guy. Powerful people have been protecting him for years upon years upon years, and it crosses party lines. So while, yeah, I guess it's cool that we're like making little votes like this and we get to see like people.
My break starts tomorrow, stupids. Oh, oops. Oh, oops.
People actually put the words out there like, I'm not gonna force the release because they'll tell us.
I think we ended up correcting it. I think
when
I
they
told
feel
people
like
that already.
So we can see the despicable.
I didn't do any bait.
Firsthand. I don't actually believe that politicians are going to be the one to open this case wide open. I think it's going to be either a leaker, a hacker, somebody who is just like willing to YOLO on this that will actually meaningfully move this case forward. I haven't seen any evidence that there is political will besides dunking on your political opponent to actually do anything, because that's all we've really seen so far is people hit each other with the old like, you're involved with Epstein, and then you go, well, hey, can you release the files? And they always say, well, we'd sure love to, but actually no, we can't. Now that might sound a little doomer. I won't blame you if you get excited about the possible release of the Epstein files, but I just feel like we've been down this road before with people promising to, expose the deep state, expose the guys in power. In fact, ironically, that's the story of how we got here now, is the Trump administration was dunking on their political opponents for...
The answer is you probably, watch similar content to people that have come in here. I'll look, what's the website for people's other follows again, chat? Let me just look up who you're following and I'll tell you. Hold on. Damn. What's the website for seeing the following? Oh, thank you. Probably Northern Lion and Maya. That would be my guess. But you have really bad vibes. You have really bad vibes. So they wouldn't like you.
Years saying that, they're secretly involved with Epstein until it was time to release the files. And then now, it was made by the Democrats. So that's where we're going to leave it. They're literally laughing at us. They're calling it boring. They're saying nothing to see here. While both people on the screen were somehow involved or linked to Jeffrey Epstein. It's beyond belief, honestly. And this is going to be the last time I talk about Jeffrey Epstein.
He's such a liar, chat. He's just an evil little liar, dude. I think my main overall reaction to the whole Jeffrey Epstein cover up is that exactly here's what I'll do. I'll just give you 8 hours so you can decide whether to come back. You're welcome for the really cool emotes. What happened last night too? Senate approves cuts to NPR, PBS, foreign aid programs. There you have it. I want to show you guys a poll that's really, really fucking crazy. Poll finds Bernie and AOC are the most popular politicians with Democrats who voted for Biden but didn't vote Kamala in 2024. Perhaps unsurprisingly, the politicians most popular among voters polled were the ones who have a long campaign on making healthcare accessible to all and making billionaires pay their fair share. Senator Bernie Sanders and AOC were far and away the favorite candidates of voters polled. 78% of those polled held favorable views of Sanders and 64% had favorable views of AOC. And there it is. Democratic voters who skipped the 2024 election want candidates like Bernie and AOC. They want leaders who fight for everyone. So, as I said at the time, chat, as one of those people, as a person who did not vote for Kamala Harris in 2024 because of her support of the genocide, I was a representative of a far group of silent and unseen majority of people who want the country to actually deliver change. Contrary to Beltway groupthink, these voters would have preferred someone more progressive than Harris. That's crazy. Understanding the missing Biden voters. We were right. Of course we were. Of course we were. Battleground voters who voted for President Biden in the 2020 election and did not vote in the 2024 presidential election. What we learned about Biden skippers. The Biden skippers who voted for Biden in 2020, but sat out 2024 are a key element to rebuilding the foundational Democratic coalition. Their absence in the 2024 presidential context and the lack of new Democrats to replace them changed the complexion of the entire electorate, tilting it decisively in Republicans' favor and eroding Democratic support across critical demographics. The Biden skippers, who number in the double-digit millions, are a natural starting point for rebuilding a sustainable, winning coalition. And this is something that I've been saying for a long time. What Americans want more than anything is change. And they want a government that cares for them and solves their problems. That's what our generations want. That's what American people need. They want radical change, and they want it now. And so if you agree with me that this country needs change, the best way to win power and defeat Donald Trump is to promise it and fight for it and only support the politicians that are on board. If that means we need to primary a lot of Democrats, then we primary a lot of Democrats. But the evidence is in. It is clear. Change is needed, and it's needed now. These skippers were largely winnable, paying attention, and made an active choice not to vote. Kamala Harris did by ignoring the people that were protesting Gaza as she defeated herself, and that is a fact. They hold a more favorable view of Democrats, including Democrats in Congress, than general population surveys might suggest. These skippers want fighters, not folders. If you compromise with the right, you lose your left flank. You lose. For every person you gain from the right, you lose 10 from your left. Every time you attack right, you lose 10. The best testing message focuses on the Democratic Party standing strong against the Trump administration and their massive tax breaks for the wealthiest. Economic left-wing populism works. It is what we need. Voters are clear, 72%, that our problems in our country coming from having an economic system where the richest 1% have taken $50 trillion in wealth from 90% of Americans over the past few decades. Developing a populist economic vision that re-engages them is key to winning Biden skippers back. This is the finding of the poll. This isn't my opinion. This is a fact. The Harris campaign economic message did not resonate with these voters, and it became the main sticking point for their disaffection. Very few people cited Harris being too liberal as a reason for sitting out. Of course not. Of course not. They are deeply motivated by healthcare, and they want elected officials to prioritize making it more affordable and accessible, a striking finding giving MAGA Republicans massive Medicaid cuts. If we seize the opportunity that is being presented us today by building a coalition of strong left-wing fighters, we can achieve Medicare for all, a Green New Deal, high-speed rail, free college. The sky is the limit. This is the wealthiest nation on the earth. We should have the best social safety net. Across focus groups for many voters, even in battleground states, not voting was an active choice. For me, it was conscious. I didn't put any effort in because I already knew where the vote was going, turned me off, so I didn't even bother. I'm guessing like the polls, I almost didn't matter because like Trump was, you know, racking up all the numbers right away. As much as I want Kamo to win, it was useless. I felt indifferent. I just felt like my vote, it wouldn't really make a difference if I voted or not. It was a lesser of two evils. You know what I'm saying? I chose to not vote. I didn't want Trump in that office for obvious reasons, and I didn't want Kamo in that office because of a record as a lawyer for getting a lot of innocent black men falsely imprisoned. Voters didn't like either candidate, felt their vote would have little impact, did not feel positive change after 2020, and did not like that Harris had to enter the race at the last minute without a primary. Didn't like either candidate. It was a lesser of two evils, 26%. Harris was no different than President Biden. Harris was too conservative for me. On the economy, these voters were almost equally impacted by the cost of living concerns and concerns that Harris wasn't addressing deeper economic issues like poverty and inequality. She didn't have a strong enough plan to get the cost of living down, and she only focused on home buyers in the middle class, not addressing deeper issues like poverty and inequality. She did too much to court Republicans, like working with Liz Cheney, not supporting Palestinian rights in the Gaza conflict. Of the voters who had not voted, over half say they would have voted for Harris versus only a quarter for Trump. Younger voters were the most likely to say third party by a wide margin. YouTube, CNN, and Facebook were top sources of news. What do they have? They have TikTok, they have Facebook, they have YouTube. They have YouTube, Twitch, Roby, and Tubi is 11. The bottom was Blue Sky. Third party was online streaming. I did it, chat. I beat you, Kamala. I beat you, Kamala. Let's keep going. Wake up, Kamala. How often would you say you check the media sources you use on current news? Several times a day was the most common answer. About once a day, second, and a few times a week, 14. So basically, almost everybody, 96% of people are checking news multiple times a week or more. 75% say they follow news about politics very closely or mostly closely. Only 7% avoid. Once a day, once a day. You have a favorable opinion of each public figure. Bernie Sanders, 78 favorable, 13 unfavorable. AOC, 27 unfavorable, 67 favorable. Elon Musk, 61% unfavorable, 35% favorable. Based on survey findings, these voters have a roughly positive perception of the Democratic Party, with the top tier statements being positive qualities about the party. However, we have significant room to grow the perception of Democrats as fighters, with 25% saying they're too weak. They are weak and won't stand up to Republicans. They are intensely unfavorable toward Republicans and MAGA Republicans, and moderately favorable toward Democrats. So basically, if you want these people to show up, you have to be strongly anti-Republican, not this bipartisan bullshit. Latino skippers hold the least positive view of Democrats in Congress. If congressional elections were held today, these people want to vote for a Democrat, and they're hated by everyone. Of course, they hate Donald Trump. Over 2/3 of voters rate Trump's job performance as fair or poor. Cuts to programs that help children, disabled veterans, and seniors, as well as failure to lower the cost of living, create the most intense regret for not voting. So it's almost like somebody like Zohran Mamdani arguing for free buses and free childcare and freezing the rent is exactly what they want. How long is this fucking thing? Our top messages were focused on casting Democrats as fighters against a rigged economic system on behalf of an inclusive coalition of voters. A multi-ethnic, working class, socialist candidate. It's almost like they're begging for a democratic socialist who's a fighter. These voters are winnable, paying attention, and they cannot be taken for granted or dismissed as long causes. Strong narratives that focus on a populist economic message in healthcare and demonstrate that Democrats are fighting for working people and can bring them back into the coalition. I mean, there's no longer a debate here. The only way to win and the only way to beat Trump and the only way to get people off their ass is economic leftist message, economic populism, and a strong anti-Republican campaign that names them as the problem, along with their billionaire backers and their donors. At this point, if you do not believe that, you are unreachable, you are unreasonable, and you are anti-empirical. The evidence is clear, and it remains clear. So I want to ask you, stop asking if the Democratic Party can learn and ask, are you going to learn? Are you going to stand up and say, I reject every single Democrat who does not fight the Republicans? I reject Gavin Newsom. I reject Andy Bashir. I reject Gretchen Whitmer. I want a democratic socialist. I want a progressive. I do not want a pandering, weak-kneed liberal. I reject Chuck Schumer. I reject Hakeem Jeffries. I want the left, and I won't take anything else. If you want to check that out yourself, there it is. Woo! Really important story.
Good evening from New York.
I wanted to see this, Chad. Elon Musk is saying that Elon Musk, who has been at Jeffrey Epstein parties, is saying powerful people want the list suppressed.
Chris Hayes, no one in my lifetime has been better than Donald Trump at changing the subject, dictating the news cycle, wiping things from our collective memory. Remember we bombed Iran like 2 weeks ago? Whatever else you can say about him, the man has always been extremely adept at getting the news coverage he wants, or at least about the topics he wants. That is not happening, though, right now. Right now, Donald Trump wants everybody to shut the hell up about his one-time close friend, associate, the late child sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein, the guy you see there on your screen hanging out with Trump. And yet everything Trump is doing is making people talk about it more. In fact, just an hour or two ago, Donald Trump fired an Epstein prosecutor. That would be Maureen Comey, the daughter of former FBI director and Trump nemesis James Comey. Now, Trump could have a lot of reasons for disliking her, but as Politico noted today, Comey, who'd worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office for nearly a decade, prosecuted both Jeffrey Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay? So when Donald Trump's trying to bury the story right now, out of nowhere, in an unprecedented move, presidents don't fire career attorneys, he fired Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell's prosecutor. This is just one in a series of things Trump has done surrounding the Epstein story that have just been really weird. And so now we are seeing a revolt among the MAGA faithful, people who cheered when Trump staffed the Department of Justice and FBI with loyalists who vowed to release the Epstein files to the public. And they were devastated last week when Trump's administration closed the case and told everybody, turns out nothing to see here. None of it made sense because the administration had been hyping this release over and over. Attorney General Pam Bondi was telling anyone who would listen that she had tapes to review, she had a client list to review, that they gave out a binder that was phase one. And it even got weirder because when they announced the case was closed, they also released that raw video from Epstein's prison block the night he killed himself. And that footage, as people noted, appeared to be missing an entire minute. Well, guess it. Get this. According to a new Wired investigation published yesterday, that video is actually missing approximately 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Wow. The exact time it would take to go in and kill the guy by strangling him in his cell. Wow, that's weird.
So the whole thing's not going away. And Trump is so frustrated by the Epstein backlash from his own political reporters, he is now calling them stupid.
Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen of that?
It's not the Attorney General, no. I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
By the way, is there anything more typical of the Trump era than a foreign leader sitting there as Trump rambles about Jeffrey Epstein? So that was Trump expanding on a wild social media post from early this morning, claiming that Democrats' new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into the BS hook, line, and sinker. They haven't.
Wow. The Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Look at what Nancy Pelosi is saying right now, chat. And I just tweeted it. It's weird that Pelosi has the same position on Trump on covering up the Epstein files. Her own daughter said that her faves were going to be implicated. The Houthi party is completely implicated, and they're trying to hide it.
You know well, too well,
the power of conspiracy theories. Your husband was attacked by a man who'd fallen for them. Is it your sense there's anything the president can do now to get his supporters to move off of the Epstein issue? Should he? Where do you land on this?
You know, again, this is a distraction. This is a distraction. We have major issues right here with things we're voting on today in the Congress, again, in terms of the rescission that the president and the Senate have sent back over us to cut all of these resources out of helping poor people throughout the world, to be America play its leadership role in soft power to keep us safe and to keep us healthy, so that viruses know no boundary. And instead, we're talking about him, about this thing, and at his own basis has its own views of what the president should do. I'll leave it up to them to talk it out. But again, whether it's Jeffrey Epstein or Alcatraz, it's all off the subject of what they're doing with this budget that is...
Alcatraz is off the subject? The concentration camp is off the subject? The cover-up of a fucking 1,000 child molestation victims from some of the most powerful people in the world is off the subject?
Harmful to the kitchen table, meeting the kitchen table needs of the American people.
I want to make sure I understand what you mean when you say distraction. Do you think that Pam Bondi going to Alcatraz is meant potentially as a distraction from Epstein, which has not gone over well at all with the president's base?
No, I think they're both distractions. I think they're both. I don't think she's going to Alcatraz. I think she's planned to do that. But I think that they're both off the subject of what is happening, changing the character and the culture of America by undermining, by placing huge trillions of dollars of national debt on the for future generations to carry forward at the expense of the health, nutrition, education of the American people.
All Pelosi's on the Epstein list. I mean, she's probably on it.
Learned their lesson and probably never will after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 years. Donald Trump, the Republican president, calling Republicans stupid people and past supporters because they believe Trump's campaign promise to release the Epstein files. Surely he couldn't mean that. But he clarified, yes, he did.
You mentioned past supporters when you were talking about the Epstein issue. Does that mean that you're effectively disowning any supporters who are now calling...
I lost a lot of faith in certain people, yeah. I lost because they got duped by the Democrats.
What? Telling people the case is closed isn't working, so he's defaulting to trying his old playbook where it's all Russia, 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 Comey, Obama hoax. Barack Obama created the Epstein files that he didn't show you, so why would you even want to see them? What could be in them? They're fabricated anyway and they don't exist. What's wrong with you? The thing is, it isn't really working.
If you talk about this, I'm going to excommunicate you. Well, you're not the Pope, bro.
Millions of Americans are not satisfied with what we've been told. And we shouldn't be, because it's been contradictory and insulting to our intelligence every step of the way.
Trump should not be insulting and attacking the people who voted him in and supported him simply because they want answers on this notorious case of a high-profile individual.
Why did they say there was thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible shit? Why did they say that?
I can't reconcile this Donald Trump with the Trump that we're seeing right now, the Trump that is gaslighting the public right now, the Trump that I voted for across multiple elections. The Epstein scandal is definitely terminal cancer to Trump's MAGA movement.
These people believed in Trump, as you saw, in his war on the deep state, and now they're wondering why Trump has changed his tune, including disgraced former Trump National Security Advisor Mike Flynn. In a long post on social media today, Flynn practically begged Trump to change tactics and release more Epstein files. Quote, if there are elites inside of our country that committed crimes against children, shame on them, and they must be held accountable. Even Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson has, at least rhetorically, in his words, if not his actions, split from Trump on the Epstein case.
I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there. And you know, Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents. As I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
That was just yesterday, though on the same day, Johnson and fellow Republicans blocked a Democratic proposal that would have forced the DOJ to publish its Epstein files online. But again, Trump can't stop talking about Epstein and posting about Epstein, even as he wishes everybody else would.
Hassan is bringing his desktop setup in case something big happens. He believes! Dad, he believes! He believes in the Hassan curse. There's no fucking way that Hassan is actually going to go 3 days without streaming. He'll be fiending by day 2. He'll be fiending by day 2.
As longtime political journalist Josh Marshall put it on social media, this stuff is seriously baffling. It's like someone went to Trump and said, dude, you have to convince everybody you are 100% guilty.
That's 1,000%.
Again, Trump has always been able to move on from a bad news cycle before, often by creating some new bad news cycle, right? But now he really is losing control of his supporters. The only person on the right who seems really happy about it is Trump's former mega donor and co-president, world's richest man, Elon Musk. All summer, Musk has openly warred with Trump, including teasing the creation of a new third party, saying in a now deleted post that Trump was in the Epstein files. Today, Musk spent much of his time on social media stirring the Epstein pot, posting that so many powerful people want that list suppressed, and we were all told the list was going to be released, and that Trump should just release the files and point out which part is the hoax. When the political betting site Polymarket posted its users believe there was a 100% chance Donald Trump was named in the Epstein files, Musk replied with a post of his own, quote, that is a high level of confidence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the moment that we've been waiting for. We are in the moment that we are waiting for. The American people want radical change. They want radical left-wing change. The centrist Democrats are dogged by the fact that they're all 90 years old and they are mixed up in the Epstein files. The Republican Party will be so fucking discredited and despised. I need you to up your radicalization and your expectation and get involved. We can deliver change. This is how it felt. God, I mean, imagine if there was a recession on top. Never think that we live in a world that lacks political possibility. We are so close to achieving that radical change that you've wanted. All right, chat. Yeah, hold on one sec. Let me look at this.
Mr. Mondaniga.
Very well.
You're back.
I think he's going to be a great mayor of New York City. I think the issues that he's campaigning on, the need to create a city that is affordable for working class people, is exactly what has to happen in New York. In fact, it has to happen all over the country. The fact that he is prepared to take on the big money interest is also important. I got to tell you on a personal level, and I think I speak for most Americans, the idea that you have billionaires in New York City who say, I don't care who won the Democratic nomination, we are billionaires, and we're going to put tens and tens of millions of dollars to defeat them. Because, you know, he's representing working class people.
What do you think are some of his weak points? What advice would you give him?
I think he's a very strong candidate.
Okay. Good question. What are some things you have been trying to kind of tell some of the Democrats who are meeting today?
Just the ways in which we want to unite the party. How'd the meeting go? Went very well. And how'd the meeting with Mr. Sanders go? Also very well. Thank you very much. Anything you learned from the senator? There's so much. He's the one who inspired me to call myself a Democratic Socialist.
Get to know him. Get to know him. You know, this is not about having any kind of hard line. I think that if anybody is skeptical, I would say get to know him. And once you get into a room with him, kick the tires yourself and make your own assessment instead of just kind of making assessments from what you may see on television. If you have the ability to meet someone in person, you should meet him before you judge.
Are they not giving him a fair chance, some of those Democrats?
No, I actually think that many of the people who were here today were showing up in good faith to do exactly that work. And I really applaud our caucus and so many members of our caucus who were there for their openness and for their receptiveness and willingness to listen and make assessments for themselves. So I think it was really productive.
Fantastic. Zohran Mamdani is an incredible talent. He is going to be a great mayor for New York City. I was proud to endorse him before the primary, and he is so smart, so authentic, cares so much about working people, and has put together an incredible coalition. We're thrilled. Yeah.
He's bringing the party together at this point.
Look, he's bringing anybody who can see the reality of the success of his candidacy and his campaign together. Anybody that's staying out at this point instead of endorsing this incredible dynamic leader is missing an opportunity.
This guy is not a communist. He's not a socialist. He's an advocate for small c capitalism. and that he really is fighting for the little business guy that's trying to eke out a living in New York. Half of all New Yorkers, get their jobs from small business.
Out at this point,
this guy is not a communist. He's not a socialist. He's an advocate for small c capitalism, and that he really is fighting for the little business guy that's trying to eke out a living in New York. Half of all New Yorkers,
They're so bad at this. They're so bad at this. Just, do you see the level of the average centrist Democrat or even so-called progressive Democrat? We could beat these motherfuckers. We could easily beat these motherfuckers. They can't get a word out. They're worthless. All right, chat. Well, I'm going to call it there for today. And I'm going to send y'all to my favorite, the man, the myth, the legend, Casey Tron's worst half, Joshua, my friend over at the Brain Domain, a trained therapist. He's a really, really chill guy. Make sure that you're following me on all the socials, chat, especially TikTok. I could feel a TikTok brewing. I can feel TikTok's brewing. Very, very close. But anyway, say hi to Joshua for me. He's incredible. If you've been feeling kind of like depressed or you've been struggling, you can literally ask him questions and get advice and get kind of some coping mechanisms to help. He is actually a place where you can be vulnerable and you can hang out and chill and talk about mental health. He will talk about a lot of these topics, which are super interesting. Highly recommend it. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. Solidarity forever, my friends. And socialism will win, and forever and ever, free Palestine.